Do you know all the Simpsons? Are you stupid like a fox? Is he coming up Millhouse? Where's the guy with the missing arm?
What's going on, people? I'm Jared Rasholi. This is what you say. I'm Isaac Davidson.
Oh, and I'm Isaac.
Should we do that again? What a shit show of a podcast so far. It's been, 10 seconds. What's going on? I'm Jared. That's Isaac. You're back with the Cracker Factory, and we're talking about Season 2 of The Simpsons, episodes 1 through to 8. Now, in this little lot of episodes, we've got a special one that we're going to do in October. That is, we've got a Treehouse of Horror, episode 1, the very first Treehouse of Horror episode, Isaac. We're going to talk about that in a special podcast in October. Is that correct?
Yes, well, we'll see how many seasons we manage to get through between now and October, and then we'll sort of just put all the Treehouse of Horrors in one jam-packed episode.
That's it. I think that'll be good. I'm going to start off like this, Isaac. What did you think about Season 2?
We've got some stinkers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, you and I try and talk as little as possible about I guess about our opinions before we start recording. We try and limit that so we can try and keep it all for the podcast, but we have teased the fact that I think there's some pretty shocking bad episodes in this first third of the season.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I actually thought that the first third of these 7 episodes, 1 through to 8, but we're skipping the Treehouse of Horror. I thought they were better than I thought they were going to be, if that makes sense. I thought I enjoyed them more. Now, I thought a couple of things. Maybe it was because I haven't seen them in ages. Like, I hadn't seen them since I was really young. Or maybe it's because they're actually good. I mean, some of the jokes were good. I was surprised. So we've almost got controversially differing opinions here. You've got you're a thinker that they are a stinker. I am thinking that they are. I don't have anything that rhymes, but they're semi. Well, they're better than I thought they were going to be. I thought some of them were pretty good. I have a low one. I have a pretty low one, but yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely have some good ones in this mix. But I think if I was to take an average, it's not looking good for the first third of this season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot to get through, like a lot of episodes. And I think the last time we did 7 episodes in one sort of recording, it was like 2.5 hours. So we've got a lot to get through.
And that's it. I think we spend a lot of time talking about what we think about the season rather than just get into the season. Before we do start, I will ask, do you have anything you want to sort of say about the season? Obviously, you didn't love the first 8 episodes. Anything else?
I mean, thank God they managed to push through this season and get to the good episodes to come.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go with that. Interestingly, though, this season starts with episode 1, which is actually what I would say is a classic. Now, I say that without giving an opinion on the episode in terms of its tier rating, but I say it's a classic because this is an episode that I watched a lot as a kid. It's called Bart Gets an F.
Yeah, I actually like this one quite a lot too. So this isn't one of the ones that I'd call a stinker.
No. Sorry, let me go back. I didn't say I liked the episode. I said it's a classic. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, we're starting strong with some different opinions then, maybe.
Yeah, well, let me preface this episode too in saying that I watched it 3 times. I watched it originally. Then I watched it again as I was going to work, as I was sort of waiting at work. I sort of had some time. So I watched the episode to get my notes down for the episode. Then I deleted my notes accidentally when I was trying to transfer them from my work computer. And then I had to watch it a 3rd time. So that could be the reason that I'm a bit over it. I don't know. But Bart Gets an F. Directed by David Silverman, written by David M. Stern, October 11, 1990. That's an important date because I got some facts for you for the next 7 episodes. 33.6 million US viewers. It's a lot. It's a lot of viewers.
Do we have the numbers for season 1? Like, is that a uptick?
Yeah, we would do. Yeah, well, I don't. You know what? It's funny. This is going to be a numbers podcast. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I don't have the numbers. But if you recall, I reckon it was about an average of 25 million for. And we were getting up to 30.
Hope you like maths.
This is going to be a good one. I've been doing a lot of math lately. I'm not even good at math, but here we are.
Well,
Disney
that's
Plus,
pretty Simpsons. The Simpsons love to sneak in a lot of math jokes in the early seasons as well,
and
particularly
Futurama too. I feel like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like apparently, when Fry
The
goes and gets
writers
his money out of his savings account, 3,000 or 1,000 years in the future, it's actually like accurate as to how much they say it's going to be. Like it's 6% compounding interest or whatever. They did the math. Apparently that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. Do your own research, people. We don't research on the Cracker Factory podcast. We just say it like it is. Whatever. Bart gets an F. Bart gives the class brain. This is Disney Plus, I should say. Bart gives a class brain anti-geek lessons, but regrets it when the brain becomes too Bart-like. What does that mean?
Sorry, try that again?
No. I'm almost positive I read that correctly. I'm reading it from a TV far away, but it says, Bart gives the class brain anti-geek lessons, but regrets it when the brain becomes too Bart-like.
That's the Disney Plus description of this episode.
I swear to God, that's the Disney Plus description.
All right, hold on. We're pausing here. I'm checking that on my screen.
No, check it.
It does not say that. Hold on. Sorry,
Check
folks.
it.
I'm just quickly pulling up Disney Plus Australian internet. You know how it goes.
I get okay internet. I unplugged it before, but But no, I'm telling you, that's what it says in the episode.
Oh, I see. Yes, Bart gives the class brain anti-geek lessons, but yeah, okay. So he gives Martin lessons in.
Okay, the class brain is Martin. I'm sorry. I probably. It's still an awful description.
Oh, it is, but I was getting it all jumbled in my head. But
I feel like there needs to be a comma after brain. Then the Bart gives the class brain anti-geek lessons, but regrets it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I have no idea.
We're not here for maths. We're not here for
grammatical and punctuation lessons. Just whatever. This is the actual description that I think is more. So it's not. I mean, I guess that's an accurate description. It's not really the relevant part of the episode. The relevant part is Bart is sort of represented as dull or dumb.
Yeah, that's sort of like the B side of the A story, which is anyway.
Agreed. But okay, it says Bart fails a test and is told he has one more chance to pass it, or else he'll be held back a year. Bart tries to get the class genius Martin Prince to help him out, but after that fails, Bart prays for help. That night, Springfield is hit with a massive blizzard and the school is closed, giving Bart one more day to study. Despite his desperate attempts, Bart fails the test again. While crying, he mentions an obscure historical event that Mrs. Krabappel, noting that he applied practical knowledge, passes him. It's pretty comprehensive.
That's it. Well, that's it, folks. On to episode 2.
Yeah, that's it. Dude, oh my God. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to give my notes first, as always, because, I'm a narcissist. Yeah, and I'm more important, whatever. So it starts off with Martin Prince reciting an Ernest Hemingway. I don't know. Is he reciting Ernest Hemingway? He's giving he's giving his book report on Ernest Hemingway. And Edna Krabappel, the teacher, is a massive Ernest Hemingway fan. And then so she's like, oh, what is she? I had a quote. My first lot of notes, I had a quote down. She's like, bravo, Martin. I almost believed that you were Hemingway in the flesh, or something cringy. And then he's like, call me Papa, which is like the cringiest thing you could ever.
Yeah. I mean, this almost makes it come across as like Mrs. K actually enjoys her job, whereas I think later seasons
I said that too in my first notes. I said she like enjoys her job. Like what happened? Because after this, she's like really like apathetic and hates her job. So she must It's the after Hemingway. It's all downhill from there. And Bart's shirt in this episode looks so washed out too. Like everything.
I think that's just true of all the early seasons. Hey, like
I reckon the colors are getting more accurate. Most of the colors are getting more accurate, but Bart's shirt is literally like, what would you describe the color as? Like a real pastel orange?
Yeah, like stained glass window orange rather than just like a real orange.
Yeah, like a dark orange. So then Bart gives his book report. Obviously he hasn't read it, but I just think the way Bart does it. So he like goes up with his book and he said. He's sitting there. He's standing there with a book, and he's like, "My book report's on Treasure Island." Now the book, it's about pirates, and he's looking at the cover, and he's like, with patches over their eyes and shiny gold teeth and green birds on their shoulders. And then he goes, did I mention that the book was written by a guy named Robert Louis Stevenson and published by the good people at McGraw-Hill? Which is like the funniest thing in the world, because I remember doing book reports where you haven't read the book. And do you remember like in primary school where like you do a book report on, on a book, and then you'd start like telling the publisher and like the author and all these details that no one cares about?
Well, that's because the criteria would say your speech needs to go for 2 minutes or whatever. How do we fill 2 minutes?
It's just like, it was published by, it was, it's licensed by
1966.
The licensing agreement says no copyright can be. It's like all this random crap, which is funny. And then obviously, like Edna, he didn't read the book. It's very clear. And she goes, "What's the name of the pirate in the book? If you've read the book, tell me the name of the pirate." And he's like thinking of this list. He's like, Long John Silver, Bluebeard, Blackbeard, whatever. And he goes, Bluebeard, which is the worst possible answer he could have given.
Possible guess.
Which is pretty funny. I thought.
Pirates.
He
should have done what we did back then and just watched the movie. Like we would have done that for 90% of our book reports.
Well, to be fair, later in the episode, he pretends to be sick and he's at home because he doesn't want to do the book report or the exam the second time. So he pretends to be sick, goes home, and the nurse reads, because he's like, "Oh, my stomach hurts." And the nurse finds out it says this has got like, what? It says like phlebitis. Did you see that? Did you get that down?
Yeah.
It's like,
he's intermittent vision or whatever. Who's saying that?
Yeah, he's like stabbing pains. You're losing your vision. Bart's vision's coming back. It's just like
you bring the TV upstairs.
Yeah, so they have to bring the TV upstairs. So they don't have that option. They don't have movies, and I used to rent movies, but from the library. So you know what I mean. That's how it was back in the day. So, but I do have a question for you. What's the actual name of the pirate in Treasure Island?
Is it not Long John Silver?
No, it is. Yeah,
okay.
I've throughout this episode of the podcast, I feel like I'm going to give you a few like random questions.
I'm not here for it's trivia night all over again.
It's trivia night number 2. So
last time I did trivia night, I won a lemon. So I hope you've got prizes for me.
Did you actually win a lemon?
I won a lemon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the real prize was like a meat platter, so I didn't win that, but at least it was something.
Yeah, but the people that have the meat platter need the lemon to, I don't know.
Got to get out that flavor.
Flavor their meat.
Take them to flavor country.
And I mean that in every possible way you can think of. I like how this is like Homer starts getting a bit more apt in terms of like how he actually is. Like the start. Yeah. So Bart, they're sitting at the dinner table and
I think you're going to say the same thing because I thought it was hilarious.
It's the best joke. I love it. So they're sitting at the breakfast table, dinner table, whatever you call it, and Homer goes, "Hey, Marge, could you get me another beer, please?" And she goes, "In a second, Homer. Lisa has some good news." And then Lisa goes, "He doesn't care, Mom." And then Homer goes, "Sure I do. I just want a beer while I'm caring."
Yeah, Marge. I wrote that down as well. It's so good.
And then he gets like, he's like, and then Lisa's like, "I got an A on my vocabulary." He goes, "You did? Oh, what a glorious day." Yeah, then he goes to the fridge. He goes, "I'm going to put this on the," and as he's at the fridge, he goes, "Oh, well, I'm here. I might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone," and like gets a beer out of the fridge. I just think that's the funniest joke.
I mean, this episode has some good jokes. Like we're skipping ahead in the episode a little bit here, but I mean, Bart copies Milhouse's exam answers on the day that he's sick.
He's
confidently walks in, writes down all the answers, and Mrs. K just go, "This is worse than Milhouse's exam."
I said that too. That's one of my notes. It talks about how Milhouse. I said Milhouse. I said Milhouse sounds weird on the phone, and the test is worse than Milhouse's. Lol. Which is funny. The resident psychiatrist. So Bart goes to psychiatry or a psychiatrist. For assistance or not assistance to because they're reviewing the fact that he can't get anything right and he's failing everything. And he says, "Well, I'm dumb. That's why." But the psychiatrist is a bit of a douchebag,
yeah, definitely.
I don't know if we see him again. I didn't write down his name because
I'm pretty sure he was in season 1, wasn't he? Maybe not.
Yeah, I think he was. That's why I remember him. But and the nurse thinks Bart has amoria phlebitis, which I looked up. Phlebitis is a vascular thing where your veins are like, I don't know if they're like congealed or throbbing or like swollen or something, but it's she's like, it's just he's like all he does is say he's got a sore stomach. Yeah. He's like, "I've got a sore stomach," which is stupid. And then the book Bart's reading for the report. Is that not sophisticated?
Book,
yeah. Well, it says like, okay, so it starts off on December 1620, Puritan separatists from the Church of England, some living in Holland, left Plymouth, England. Like, that's the start.
For a
that's the very
10-year-old.
Yeah. That's,
Like,
I don't know. Maybe I misremember, but I feel like that's a lot.
I mean, I don't remember reading books like that when I was 10, but maybe that's just the Australian education system. Hey,
Yeah, maybe we were just poorly educated. But then,
I mean, in
also
the
uses
real
the
world,
words,
you're a teacher, so but you're not primary school, so
yeah, well, that's it. I mean, the kids in high school couldn't read this. Like they wouldn't read it. Well, I don't know. Yeah, so
they make the same choices as Bart.
Yeah, 100%. But then Bart uses the word the terms sincerity and conviction in it, like a speech to the psychiatrist when he suggests he's gonna get held back. So I'm like, is he that dumb? I don't know. Like,
just not applied.
Yeah. Oh, and then the quote. There's an Otto quote, which is like one of the most. My sister, one of my older sisters, she quotes this all the time, which is that now I drive the school bus. So
yeah.
So Bart, he's going to fail the test, and he's like, he has to retake the test the second day after he finds out he's going to be held back. And Bart says, Otto, can you crash the bus or something? And then Otto goes, no, can do, Bart, man. You can't do it on purpose. And he goes, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. and then he's like, oh, I'm going to be held back or whatever in fourth grade. And then Otto goes, I got held back in fourth grade twice. And look at me, man. Now I drive the school bus. And it's just
it cuts to Bart's face and he's just like completely blank and says nothing. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's just like, oh God. But I do love Otto. And then like there's another joke that I really love. So I did at 13:25, Martin Martin is going to help Bart study or whatever. And they're walking up his stairs to his room. You see his legs? How far apart they're spread? Bart's walking up the stairs.
Has he got like a cowboy walk, has he?
No, it's like exceptional cowboy walk. It's like when Homer's dancing to the jug that Lisa's playing, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, the hoedown.
That's how he's walking. It's weird. But another trivia question for you. Well, let's break it up. What movie are they? So Bart has to go study, even though he prays for snow and snow happens, and then he's looking outside and everyone's having an amazing time. It's the best thing in the world. In fact, Mayor Quimby is there giving a speech while there's a marching band playing and goes, I hereby declare this day Snow Day, the funnest day in the history of Springfield, which is the best joke in the world. I love that. The funnest day in the history of Springfield. I love that. And then they all holding hands and they're singing Winter Wonderland. And I'm asking what film are they spoofing with that? Holding hands singing.
Oh, I mean, I assumed Peanuts or something like that, but is it not?
Well, I didn't look this up. I just imagined it was the Grinch. You know how at the end of the Grinch they hold hands and they sing "Fa-hoo-va-va." But I guess that was made after this, wasn't it?
Not the original Grinch.
Oh well, not the. Does that happen like in the cartoon? Yeah, does that happen in the cartoon though?
I mean, it may have even happened in the book. I don't really know. But
maybe it's not much of a trivia question, but I don't know the answer. But
I always assume when they're doing those sort of things, I think it's Peanuts because I think they do make a lot of references to, Snoopy and Peanuts and that sort of thing. But
yeah. You know what? I'm like looking back at these quotes too. It's like I feel like I've given it a pretty poor rating, but I'm looking at these. There's so many jokes. Like there's a joke. That's
what I was about to say. You didn't.
There's a flashback. There's a flashback sequence where he's like Bart's thinking about what happened in 1772 or whatever it was, and during the whatever they were doing, these American who were they? American founding fathers and whatever, and then it's like snowing outside, like it's sort of mimicking what's happening in Bart's world at the moment, and it's like, and one of the guys is like, I've invented something fun, this sled. And they go outside and they start sledding. And then one of the guys is like, hey, look, everybody, John Hancock is writing his name in the snow.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest, another stupid joke. But, otherwise, I got three more notes. I said, Bart Martin says, but Martin turns bad boy, right? Because Bart's taught Martin to be bad.
He gets high on the thrills of being cool and like leaves Bart to study alone or something like that. And then he goes and chases his next hit at the arcade with the other boys.
Yeah, and the other boys are like, yeah, Martin, you're the best, Martin, whatever.
So
but
cool,
then like
Martin,
at the end, when Bart's finishing the test, he's like, later, Mrs. K, or whatever. Like, not cool. He's like, later, Mrs. K, like a nerd or whatever. But like but then in the next scene, when Bart runs past them, he's like graffitiing the wall. I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
Is this when he's celebrating? He's like graffitiing, but he's got Seymour there as well.
So Bart, that's exactly. Seymour's like holding him, I guess, like restraining him or whatever. But Bart passes the test at the end, or because he passes it because he says something out loud, which is like that happens in teaching. Like if the kid did a really bad job on like a test or whatever, you can test through verbal knowledge or understanding, which is whatever. And Bart passes the test. And then, he runs out and he's like, oh my God, I did it, whatever. And he runs past and Martin is spray painting a wall and being apprehended by Principal Skinner. But he said later Mrs. K as though he's still a nerdy, I don't know. Maybe he's still nerd. I don't know. Maybe he's doing a bit of
When
both.
you're saying he said later Mrs. K, is that when he had the shades on and the Hawaiian shirt and stuff?
Did he? No, but he had the shades on the Hawaiian shirt at the end. I think
when he walks out of class, I think he's got his hair slicked back with shades.
Did he?
The Hawaiian shirt, yeah.
Okay.
And he's he's strutting rather than walking.
Okay.
I think
more sense.
I think Martin's good in this I guess this is sort of like where I think in the first season we were talking about how Martin didn't really seem like Martin, but I think this episode is
he was such a
starting to get to But
Martin
the scene where the scene where Bart pushes him over twice and says, "I've had another demonstration."
I've had another demonstration. What is it? Is like my use of complex numbers, my years of hall monitor service. Allow me to demonstrate. Allow me to demonstrate
again. They mean nothing to these people.
Let me demonstrate. Push him over. They all laugh. Two more notes. I remember the Bart kisses the teacher thing resonates in my brain because I watched this as a kid, but I hate the fact that Bart starts crying. I sort of cringe. Really? I don't know why. Maybe it's because I see myself in that as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I think
cringe.
It feels like a fairly realistic representation of like a 10-year-old kid who has been told he has to do a whole nother year of school and all his friends are going to move up to the next grade and all that sort of stuff. Like,
I mean, you're right. You would cry. I would.
It's
cry
heavy
for
for a 10-year-old kid. Like normally, Bart's not really portrayed as a real 10-year-old a lot of the time, but here I feel like that's pretty spot on for how I probably would have reacted if I'd been told that as a kid.
Yeah, and especially because he actually did try.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I guess like I'm looking at it from like a 27-year-old person's man's bloody perspective, and I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. But also, not ideal. He's going to get held back. So, No. Anything else about the episode that you really liked?
I think I've already touched on all the sort of like the funny quotes and stuff. I mean, there was the part where when they're sort of panning across the snow day thing, and Burns and Homer are having a snowball fight.
Yeah,
and Burns seems like a normal, nice dude. Like he calls Homer a ragamuffin, I think.
yeah. I feel like that's part of like the mystique of the fact that it's snow day.
The joy of the happiest day in Springfield's history.
And I love that. Like, so Bart prays for snow so he doesn't have to go and do his thing at the school. And the next day it starts snowing, and they're listening to the radio. And the two guys, Marty and whatever his name, who is it? Marty and do you have the two radio guys' names? Bill and Marty. They're like, and now for the moment you've all been waiting for, Springfield County schools are, I can't even read it, I'm so excited. Springfield County schools are closed or whatever. But it's just like, why are these radio presenters so excited about a school being closed? I just think that's funny as.
Horrible for me. As an adult, I hate the idea of children being out and about at the same time that I am.
It's just a funny joke. Like, I'm so excited, I can't even read it. It's just like, it's so dumb. I like that joke. But I think that's my notes for the episode.
So you gave a lot of positives there, but at the top of the episode, it sounded like you didn't really give it a high rating.
I'm looking at my rating, and you're not going to at all agree with this.
Okay,
I'm happy to bump it up, but
it's a debate. We're having a debate. We came in with different ideas.
Okay. So are we ready to rate this? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it. I've watched this episode. This is one of the episodes where I got like the Simpsons head DVD set, like for season 2 or whatever, and I watched this episode a billion times with my my siblings. I've seen this episode so many times. My older sister loved this episode, so we watched it 1,000 times. Like we watched Titanic, like we watched, a bunch of other things.
For me, it was Iron Giant. I watched that movie so many times.
We watched The Grinch at Christmas. We'd watch, so it was a very.
I still do.
Yeah, so do I. But this, it's like I'm over it. So I said, this is my exact notes. I wrote this. I said, I think it's because I watched this twice. Sorry, I should say 3 times. I did watch it 3 times, and I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to have to. Sorry, it's so poor. I didn't want to have lowered the grade, but I've also seen it a lot, and I put. I don't know. So do you want to simultaneously say where we're at with it?
Well, so it sounds like it's like fatigue for the episode that's holding you back on this one.
I think it is fatigue, but I think because of that, I wouldn't personally watch it again.
Yeah.
So
I took a different approach to my note taking. I watched it once and then saved my notes, but
I mean, everyone has their own. Everyone has their own different, their own methodologies of doing things like that.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like the deleting it gave me a better perspective of how much I hate myself and how much I have to, I should torture myself by doing more work. So, with that being said,
if you were in Bart's position, you would have gotten an F here for saving your notes. And
I would have got an F for saving my notes, and then I would have cried because I had to rewatch the episode twice.
4 times at that point if you did it again.
Yeah, probably. But I put this in, so we've got our list just to refresh everyone's memories. We've got S tier is Sue Diddly-Ooper. A is Awesome to the Max, which is actually a quote from Futurama, but Max Power, whatever. B is Bad to the Bone. Bad to the Bone is like that's sort of mediocre. C is Choose Not to Watch. You wouldn't watch it again. If it's on, you'd probably do something else. And then Rock Bottom, that's the bottom tier. We wouldn't even bother. We'd turn it off straight away, sort of thing.
Actively avoid at all costs.
Yeah, actively avoid at all costs. So I've put it. With that said, I've put this episode in Choose Not to Watch.
Really? I mean, it. I was. Yeah.
What's your reason? Okay. Where are you with it?
I did an A. Awesome to the max.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen the episode a lot? Are you with me on that? Like, have you watched this one a lot as a kid?
I mean, I didn't have this one on box set. I think the ones that I did have on box set were somewhere around like 5 to 9, probably.
Yeah, classics.
And I mean, being episode 1, if you had the box set, you wouldn't have been able to avoid it. But I think I'm just trying to rate it on like content involved rather than fatigue on the episode or something like that.
I think that said, I think based on what I've said about all the jokes and the classic lines, plus I really like the line, the funnest day in the history of Springfield, I hereby declare this snow day, which is the dumbest thing in the world. I do like that. I just feel like the narrative itself is really minimal. Like it doesn't even feel like it's 20 minutes. I guess that's a good thing. It doesn't feel like it's 20 minutes worth of story. It flies by, but
yeah. I mean, it sort of. I guess if you're talking about that, it flip flops a bit. Like, oh, Bart has to do the test. No, he doesn't. Oh, Bart has to. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, he gets another chance. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
So
and then like
it does
also what's
bit,
he?
But
and then his test changes like. Unless that's the start of Treasure Island on December 12, 1620, Puritan separatists from the Church of England. It could very well have been the start of Treasure Island. I have no idea. But it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I think it started with Treasure Island and then it moved to just like a history report or something.
Yeah, in general. So maybe.
Or a history exam or something. Yeah.
Yes. Which, doesn't make sense as well to me because he's failing one thing. Hey, let's go test you. It's like failing science and then getting tested on your ability to throw a tennis ball. It's like... They don't really have much to do with one another. But I'm happy to move this up. I'm happy to go bad to the bone. That's where I would sit on it. I would say it's like, it's funny. I wouldn't, if it was on, I think I would let it play. It's not something I would 100% turn off, but I wouldn't be that interested in. Yeah.
I get, well then, let's settle on B for Bad to the Bone, because I mean that's just meeting each other in the middle. But I'm just surprised, like after all the positives you went through, that you'd put it at C.
Yeah, you know what? So am I. I actually am too. Maybe I didn't think about it properly. But okay, let's put that at C. Let's move on. Episode number 2. This is Simpson and Delilah. This is Richard Moore, director. John Vitti wrote it. October 1990. 29.9 million US viewers. Sounds like the viewers listened to what I thought. 4 million less viewers means that episode 1 stank. I don't know. No, maybe
Rough.
not.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, maybe it is rough, but so it says on Disney Plus, Homer receives a promotion, a key to the executive washroom, and an invaluable secretary.
I think that's pretty good, actually.
That's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Maybe it should have been in reverse order. Like he gets the secretary before.
Yeah, he gets the secretary before the key to the washroom and the promotion. He gets he gets promotion first.
Promotion, secretary. Yeah.
Secretary, washroom. Yeah. The washroom thing is very minimal, but it has a lot of nostalgia for me. We'll talk about that.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I might be wrong about it, but okay, let's read about it. Homer discovers a miracle hair growth formula called Dimoxinil and cheats on some insurance forms so he can buy some. Homer grows hair overnight and is soon given a promotion at the Springfield nuclear power plant. He gets a new secretary named Carl who helps him become successful. However, Burns' assistant, Waylon Smithers, becomes jealous of all the attention Burns is giving Homer and discovers that Homer had cheated on the insurance forms. Smithers tries to fire Homer, but Carl claims he cheated on the forms and is fired in Homer's stead. Bart spills Homer's remaining Dimoxinil, and Homer loses all of his hair. As a result, Homer is demoted back to his old position.
I mean, that hits the nail on the head. That's it.
That's it. That's a story. Do you want me to go with my notes?
Well, yeah, you start us.
Yeah, okay. This is what I got. So I said, first, starts with Simpsons eating at the dinner table, the classic Simpsons slurping sound, which is like, I don't know if that's mukbang to anyone, but to me, that annoys the ever-loving bejesus out of me.
It's funny you mention it in this one because I think I made a note of it in a later episode where it is awful. Like,
are you about it?
Worse.
Are you mukbangy or not really?
No. It was. I don't remember exactly what episode it is, but I do have it in my notes somewhere that it was just like poison in my audio poison.
Yeah, it's awful, bloody annoying. It's actually annoying. I don't like it. I know some people actually enjoy it. I spoke to my other mate about it, and he says, "Oh, I like it. And like it's relaxing." I was like, "No, it's irritating." When people like chew with their mouth open and like make slurping and slopping sounds, I'm like, "No, just stop."
Yeah, disgusting. Stop
annoying.
It. If you're that person, stop it.
Yeah, if you're out there, we will find you and we will kill you.
No. Cut that.
Are we cutting that? Okay, fine.
No. We'll keep that in. That's fine.
That's fair. I think that's reasonable to be killed for doing that.
It's a reasonable response to it, yes, but we don't want to put it out there that is actually what we're going to do. Yeah.
What I say? Grade school challenge is a funny joke. Oh yeah, they're doing grade school challenge at the start. They're watching the TV and they're doing like, who are you smarter than a fifth grader? But like Homer can't get any of them right. And it's like the thing's like, well, now we will return to grade school challenge after these messages or whatever. And then the Dimoxinil ad comes on. It's like a free.
The ad is great.
The ad is great. Can you explain the ad? I'll get my charger while you explain the ad. I'm listening.
Oh, I mean, it's an ad for a miracle breakthrough with hair growth. And I mean, Homer's reaction to, a miracle breakthrough.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. And she's like,
the funniest part of it is the for your free brochure, send $5 to Moxinil, 485 Hair Plaza, Hair City, Utah.
I didn't get the Hair Plaza, Hair City stuff, but I got the sorry, I'm plugging my computer in. Sorry if I was very loud there. I didn't get the Hair Plaza, Hair City stuff, but I got the exact quote I got. For a free brochure, send $5 to Moxinil.
Yeah.
Do any hair? I was going to ask you this. Do any hair loss treatments actually work in real life? Because you know how there's like in Australia, there's this like what's the hair loss thing? It's like Craig something. No, is it something Craig? No,
I think it's like Jenny Craig. No.
There's a hair loss. Pilot. That's it. Pilot's hair loss.
Yes,
treatment.
I do get ads for that. I mean, we're of that age now. We're getting up in years. So I feel like
I did hear a fact. I say fact. I did hear this idea that you don't lose your hair. Like it's based on your mother's, your granddad on your mother's side. So your mother's father. If they have a full head of hair, you will. Is that true? Probably not. I don't know.
Well, my hairdressers have told me that before, but I I mean, they would probably know, but I see my hairline receding. What are we, 27 at the moment? It's happening to me. I don't know how bad your hairline's going.
No, touch wood. I'm all good so far, but
oh god,
you never know.
So I mean, this episode is striking a chord with me. Yeah,
yeah, I feel you. I understand that. You know, I've got a mate that's fully. I went bald at like 24, and he's just shaved it off. He's like, you got to deal with the hair that God dealt. You know what I mean? So he's like,
and I mean, obviously, that's probably something I'll have to overcome eventually. But like, I mean, the whole premise of the episode is Homer struggles with being self-conscious about his
male
baldness
pattern baldness. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it's as though. Oh, yeah, you first.
Oh, well, I was going to say there's a funny part where Homer goes to pick up the treatment, and the guy's like, Homer gets the treatment. He's like, is a scalp massager, gravity boots, and a free I Love Demoxenil t-shirt. Which is
for $1,000.
For $1,000. It's like the gravity boots are the best.
Yeah, what do the gravity boots do?
Yeah, I want to know. I actually want to know.
Straightening gloves all over again.
Yeah, which we're not up to that yet, but the straightening gloves.
But when we get there, straightening gloves, fantastic. Yeah.
Gravity boots. Are they like, you know how like Kanye Yeezy has those like crazy Yeezys that are like giant moon boots or whatever? Are they
like the Astro Boy boots? I think, yeah.
Are they like them, or are they actual
I think
boots
they're just
that
like
defy
weight
gravity?
bands, aren't they? Oh, okay. I was thinking just like gravity boots meant like weight plates for your legs, like you know your favorite anime characters who take off the weights from their legs and then go super fast.
I was thinking gravity boots actually make you float. Maybe that's probably a bit far fetched though. I would think. Maybe a little bit far.
I mean, Simpsons does probably reach that point eventually, but I feel like season 2 they weren't going that broad.
Yeah, that's it.
Crazy sci-fi ideas like that.
Yeah, and it cost him $1,000, right? So this is where we get very mathematical. I was calculating this. I punched the numbers in on this, people, and I was like, can you tell me, because it's based on inflation, so I've written here $1,000 back in 1990 with an average inflation rate of 2.58% per year, an accumulated inflation rate of 137.43% from 1990 to 2024 means that the treatment today would have cost Homer. Now I'll give you a guess. Well, are you expecting me to do the maths, or can I just throw out a number? You can throw out a number, and if you're accurate, you can tell us you did the math on it.
Oh,
but look, average inflation rate of 2.58%. Which is 137.43% from 1990 to 2024 right now. $1,000, how much would that be right
years. Now? Special skill, give me, I don't know, 4.5. I've got no idea.
I would have said something crazy because I wouldn't have had a clue. I'd say like 50 grand. It's actually 2.374. So $2,400.
Not as bad.
Which is pretty good for some gravity boots, some hair stuff, a scalp massager, and a free I Love Demoxenil t-shirt. I mean, that would get an absolute. That would go through the wash a lot of times. I'm telling you that right now.
Would you pay 2.5 for real anti-gravity boots?
Would depend how like. I'd have to see reviews on them. Do the gravity boots work, or are they just like? Do they look like Astro Boy boots? You know what I mean?
Astro Boy. I mean, that's probably how much those Astro Boy boots actually cost. The Yeezy ones or the Adidas ones or whatever they are.
Yeah. They probably do. I mean, I went to there's a secret sneaker store and like even like the Jordans and stuff that like they sell. They look the same to me, and some of them are like $1,000 or whatever. I'm like,
these are the original ones made with leather from
Michael Jordan's
Michael Jordan
cow.
Has kissed. Yeah. Something
Michael
like
Jordan
that.
had cows, and this is the leather that we got off them or whatever. We tanned their hides.
It's the same cheap, shitty Nike shoes.
Yeah, literally.
$200 ones. Yeah.
Lenny and Carl are finally Homer's two workmates, and their voices are finally normal.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is good. I like that. So the introduction, I would say this is the episode where it's the introduction that Lenny and Carl are actually Homer's, colleagues, like the two guys, the two friends at work. I love. So Homer goes, "You can't afford the thing," and they're like, "Yeah, we can't afford your. You can't afford the $1,000 or whatever." Sorry, I had a mental blank there. You can't afford the $1,000, and he's like, "Well, forget you, pal. Thanks for nothing." He walks out crying, and then he's retelling the story to Lenny and Carl, and he goes like, "So anyway, I was like, yeah, forget you, pal. Thanks for nothing. And
You
stormed
showed
out
him
of there.
Homer? Yeah.
Yeah, you showed him Homer, which I'm like, that is definitely the way that things. I've seen all these TikToks lately where it's like a guy thing. You tell your friends like this is how something happened. But I saw this one where they're like this Samoan dude's like big buff Samoan dude bumps into this guy and is like real timid. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he's like telling the story to his mates. He's like, so I went ooh, and I put him down and I did this and I did that. And I'm like, it's just so accurate. I'm like, that's so funny how like just so much shit talking really.
Yeah. Just the male mentality of I've got to spice this up a little bit, make me look better.
Yeah, literally. Homer buys a Demoxenil because he uses Burns' company insurance, which if that's allowed, well, I don't get why he gets in trouble for that. Maybe hair loss product isn't on the insurance policy. I don't know. But I
imagine it wouldn't be. Based on normal.
I wouldn't think. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I guess that must be the reason. But just you're just curious. He has the insurance, and if it covers it, whatever it covers it. I don't know. He says hi to Mrs. So he's running up the street because his hair grows back after he uses it, and he's excited. He's running up the street. Says hi to Mr. and Mrs. Winfield, who I guess they're in season 1, I think. But I guess his afro looks terrible in my opinion. Homer with hair. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, he looks like every mid-20s Australian guy at the moment with the awful mullet thing going on. Like,
that's after the fact. The afro at the start looks bad.
Oh, when he does get it. I thought you were talking about when he was running down the street with the mullet, like when he first gets hair.
Oh, does he have a mullet? Oh, yeah. At the time, yeah, that's what he has. Yeah. But then after that, he has an afro in like the next scene.
Yeah, that looks bad.
Yeah, which is like his hair keeps changing, but whatever. And so Homer gets promoted for that, and he's like hiring a secretary, and he goes to this girl, or this woman that applies for the job, and he's like, your resume looks in order. And then she goes, he's like, do you have anything else? She's like, I give really good back rubs to high profile execs. Do you want me to demonstrate? And Homer's like, no, which is good because Homer's like, oh, no, that's okay. Which is, Homer's learnt lessons from season 1. But I said this. I really like Carl. So Homer employs Carl, and Carl's awesome.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I mean, Carl's great. To the best of my knowledge, in all the seasons I've seen, he doesn't ever come back. Maybe in like the newer seasons he does, but I don't know. Maybe it's for the best that he doesn't. Like, keeps him pure in this episode rather than sort of being ruined by the later season terrible writing.
Yeah, 100%. Carl's he's so affable. Like, he's so likable.
Yeah.
It does all these good, nice things for Homer. He sends him a singing telegram when it's their anniversary because Homer forgets about the anniversary and the guy sings You Are So Beautiful to Me, the Alfalfa movie song. You are so beautiful. But he sings it really poorly. He's like real cringy. He's like, you are so... It's like the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I like some of the quotes when Homer couldn't afford the product. Marge is like skeptical. She's like, you've done all these things. He goes, Marge, weren't you listening? This is a miracle breakthrough, not one of those cheap old products. and then Homer goes to buy it, and the guy's like, he's like, I can't afford it. And Homer's like, would you have anything else? And the guy's like, we have a product in your price range, but I must assure you that any hair growth you experience while using it is purely coincidental. Which is a good joke. I like that one.
It's like $20 for that one, I think. I think it was a price tag on it.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, he's spruiking his product that he also says doesn't work, which is funny. I
had something here. So before we even got to talking about Homer with his hair and even Carl being introduced, we'd been talking about this episode for like 10 minutes. This episode takes a long time to get going. Like, it's a lot of setup before he even gets the hair, before he meets Carl, which is like the main point of the episode, but it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, it does. You're right. And and there's a bunch of things that like, it's and Homer gets the hair, he gets promoted, he starts doing all these great things. And Smithers gets jealous. And he gets the key,
which is the thing they do again later. Hey, this like
they do it a few
Homer
times,
sort
actually,
of replacing Smithers. Yeah, I think they teased it in this episode and then realized later on that they didn't get all of the comedic value out of it, so they revisited it.
They've definitely done it several times because I know I can think of one already where there's an episode called Homer the Smithers, which is another one, and then Homer becomes, goes to Mr. Burns' house and all the other things. Sorry, some kids outside my door. You can probably hear that.
Why aren't they at school? Yell at them.
I know, because it's Saturday. But yeah. But you know what? They should be at school still. I said, what happens to the play equipment in the backyard of The Simpsons? Bart's playing on play equipment, like a jungle gym. Where does that go? I don't know. I'm just, come on.
Where's the consistency?
Someone better get fired for that blunder.
Yeah, exactly.
I said 20:05 at the end of the episode when Homer's walking out of the auditorium after his speech doesn't go well. That Carl writes, it says, Homer looks so skinny while walking out of the auditorium. Oh, and Burns says he's 81 in this episode.
Yes.
Which is, remember that, 81 in 1990. Remember that. That's relevant for a couple episodes later. It's very relevant. But
they do change that, I think. But
they change it several times. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Smithers says you're not going to. So Smithers is annoyed because he's jealous of Homer or whatever, and he gives Homer the responsibility of doing this speech, but he's fired Carl because Carl said that he's the one that charged the company's insurance policy for the hair stuff. Yeah. And so Smithers goes to Homer, "You're not going to hang yourself, are you?"
Jeez, yeah, I noticed that as well.
Which
pretty
is a grim joke for Smithers. Smithers is never that dark.
Yeah.
Like The Simpsons is never that dark. It's season 1 and 2 especially, but season 1 especially, but season 2 it's got some dark jokes. Oh, and then I like the joke at the end. This is my final note, and then you can tell me about what you think of the episode. But I like the joke where Homer's like doesn't believe in himself. He's like, I can't do it. You're doing everything. And then Carl goes, Homer, don't you see the tartar sauce, the key, drying your boss's hands? That was all you. It's a good one.
I mean, it's a good speech. Hey, all Carl really does is just help Homer have confidence. Like that's
which is sweet.
All that's been holding Homer back his whole life or something. But
yeah, Carl's awesome. I like Carl.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's all I had. Anything you got?
I think we really did sort of just touch on everything. A good joke is when Carl's helping Homer buy better suits and stuff, and he let it all out, Homer, and turns to the guy measuring him and says, "Now you conceal it." Yeah,
that's so good. Yeah.
So good.
Now you conceal it. I do like that. Homer actually looks good in a suit with the hair too. I rate it.
When he has the sort of like herb cut, like his brother's sort of haircut. I think it's probably one of the last hairstyles he does.
Yeah, and he's wearing the red suit.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah. Let's. I mean, we can relate hair loss. What do you think of the episode? There's actually a lot of good jokes, and I thought the episode was interesting. It's funny. I gave it a better rating than the last one. Where did you put this? You tell me.
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, there's a few good jokes in here, but I wouldn't say it's like a sort of Comedy Central, lots of jokes. It's more just one of those sort of emotional, sweet episodes that they do from time to time. Mm-hmm. But I gave it an A. I really like this episode, Carl being the main reason I really like this episode.
That's 2 A's, and you've said that you didn't like a lot of these episodes.
Yeah, well, we're about to get to the back end of it, so...
Yeah, okay. I gave it a B, a bad to the bone. I thought it was decent. Some good jokes actually. I think the reason I put this one, because this one's less of a classic, still a classic, Carl. This whole thing, it's less of a classic obviously than the first one. Bart Gets an F is a classic, absolute classic. Yeah. But I thought it was more interesting, and I hadn't seen it in a while. Like, it's one of those ones that I didn't watch for a long time, so I enjoyed it more. And Smithers' love for Mr. Burns is brought out a lot more here too. I guess it's made apparent throughout, but I gave it a B. I'm happy to move a touch.
And I can respect a B because, like, in terms of comedy value, I'd probably put it near a C or something like that. But just on the sort of like sweet, emotional, heartfelt episodes that they do, I think this is definitely one of the better ones that they do.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to put it a B? That's 2 Bs?
Yeah, I'm happy with another B.
Okay, let's do 2Bs. That's where we're at.
2B.
So we're going to skip the next episode. That's episode 3. That's Treehouse Horror. That's the first Treehouse of Horror. That's a special we're going to do in October for Halloween. I'm going to move straight to episode 4. 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish. Garage, directed by Wes Archer, written by Sam Simon and John Swartzwelder. November 1990. US viewers 26.1 million. So it's going down every single episode, the viewership. But I don't know, 26 million viewers is a lot back in 1990 November, I would say. Disney Plus says Mr. Burns wants to be governor to lower nuclear safety standards to keep his plant online. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
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 I mean, that's like the main point of the episode. I suppose
it is. It is the main point of the episode. This is what it actually says in the description. It says, after Bart catches a 3-eyed fish in a river downstream of the nuclear power plant, the plant is inspected and found to have 342 violations. That was one of my math questions to you. Anyway, which would cost several $1 million to rectify. I'm not going to say the number. In order to prevent
58.
this... Oh, it's close. In order to prevent his plant from being shut down, Mr. Burns decides to run for governor, so you don't know it. After a hard campaign which sees Burns rise from being universally despised onto running neck and neck with the incumbent, oh my goodness, I can't read, Mary Bailey, it is decided that Burns will have dinner with a random employee the night before the election. Coincidentally, it's Homer. Homer is chosen, much to Marge's chagrin. Marge serves the 3-eyed fish to the Burns for dinner, who cannot eat it, as a result loses the election. That's pretty apt, pretty accurate. Any insights about this episode before I give my before I give my insight, my thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think we mentioned that the 3-eyed fish would come back in season 1, because you do briefly see it for a few seconds in season 1, and here it is. Here's the episode we were talking about.
I wonder if they knew about this episode having been written or being written. Maybe they had like a backlog of episodes.
Like a storyboard for this idea in season 1 or something.
I wonder.
I mean, since they did half as many episodes in season 1, maybe they planned out quite a few more, but then scaled it back to just the 13 episodes in season 1.
Yeah, they could have. Okay, so here are my notes. My notes are this, right? We meet Dave Shutton, the investigative reporter, who goes up to Bart and he says...
it's really creepy, right?
He's at the start, he's creepy. Like, the first thing I think of this guy, because Lisa and Bart are beside the lake, they're fishing, which that never happens, but okay.
No.
And this guy goes up behind him. My first instinct is like, something's wrong here. I don't know. I
felt
bad.
really uncomfortable.
But I remember seeing this episode a long time ago and thinking the same thing. Every time a dude goes up to these 2 kids fishing.
Yeah. It's weird. And I think even just like the facial expressions that they give Bart and Lisa here, it looks like they feel uncomfortable, but I can't really. But it made me feel weird. I hate for someone to just come up and start talking to me as a 27-year-old man. If someone came up and started talking to me while I was minding
what are you doing there,
fishing,
little fella? Sort of thing. It's just like,
please
what?
go away, please.
Yeah, literally. It said, and the quote that the guy says. So the guy goes, "Who are you, little boy? What's your name?" And Bart goes, "I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?" And he goes, I must say that my day we didn't talk to our elders like that. And Bart goes, "Well, this is my day, and we do, sir."
Which is good.
So
yeah,
funny.
I do like that.
I like that, and I remember that quote from when I was younger. It's a funny one. I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you? Is a pretty good quote. Pretty famous. Burns kind of sounds normal in episode 2, but now he sounds a bit weird again, like season 1. Episode 2, the one before this, that we talked about before this. Burns sounds normal, like actual Burns, modern day Burns. That's how he sounds. But then this episode, he sounds like season 1 Burns.
Yeah,
maybe they recorded the episodes and then rearranged them. Yeah. Could you imagine if the first 3-eyed fish episode from season 1 was actually recorded after this? Nah, the animation looks better. Nah, I couldn't have. I don't know. That's a strange one.
I'd have to assume that they were sort of planned together or something like that. Because, I mean, season 1 had a lot of that sort of continuity stuff with even like the piggy bank and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon
for
they
sure.
did probably plan it.
Yeah. So that Burns is, after they find the three-eyed fish, Burns gets a health inspection for the plant, and they are violating 342 codes or whatever. Smithers does the math in 2 seconds on his calculator and finds out how much it's going to cost. Do you remember? This is my question to you. How much would this have cost the plant at the time?
Well, I took my stab at it. I thought he said 58 million, but
It was 56 million.
Right.
Which in 1990, I haven't done the math on this one. I should have. Would have been a lot of money.
Before?
143% inflation. Do the math on that.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Do the maths on that. And
Do the math on that,
here
people.
it
And
is. Jared just added in voiceover afterwards.
Yep, it is.
Wow, that much. Holy. That's crazy.
That's a lot of money. That's a big plant.
Yeah.
You know what? If you actually get the number, write into the Cracker Factory podcast at gmail.com and tell us the number, and we won't read it. But yeah, do that. How is gonna? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so plant has. Burns has to close the plant. The plant has to close the Burns. He's singing a song by Bing Crosby called "I Built a Railroad." He's humming it, crying in the car, and Homer runs into Burns in the car, says, "Everything okay?" And then tells Burns that if he runs for mayor, he can change anything he wants to make it so his plant won't get shut down. And then Homer is driven off by Burns to change the world, allegedly. My question is this. How was Homer going to get to work the next day after Burns drove off with him?
I don't think Burns really cared how Homer was going to get to work. 4-day weekend
Homer
again.
care? Yeah, true.
Obviously not. No, of course, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. This is
Don't
1990.
bother coming in on Monday.
Yeah. If you're not going to come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in on Monday. Who did Marge want to vote for?
Well, obviously the Mayor Bailey.
Yeah, that's it. So Mary Bailey.
Do we? Oh yeah, Mary Bailey, Governor Bailey. Do we ever see her again?
Yeah.
Governor Bailey.
I don't know. The name rings a bell so much every time I hear it. So something's going on there. I have no idea.
I don't remember her being. I feel like they sort of subbed her out, and then it all becomes Mayor Quimby.
Yeah. Yeah, there must have been the case. She must have got run out of town or something. But Quimby was already mayor 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I mean,
So
maybe
she's
they
a
just
governor.
thought there was no comedy in Governor Bailey because she was so like straight laced or whatever. She's sort of presented in this episode.
But is she a mayor or governor? Actually, I don't know.
She's governor, and then I feel like
okay.
the sort of political figure in The Simpsons, that sort of character is they just rely on Mayor Quimby from then on.
Yeah, okay. So it's different. It's different. Mayor and governor. I wonder if that's a thing.
Yeah.
You're having both. But Barney, so there's an ad about, about the election, and Barney says, they're going to close the bars. Now, I didn't realize this, but there are some states and countries, they shut bars until an hour before the election on election day. Did you know that? I looked this up.
No, I did not know that.
I don't know if they do. I don't think they do it in Australia, but maybe it's so that people aren't inebriated
When they vote.
when they go and vote. Maybe. I would say that's the case. That's interesting. I never thought about that, ever. But Barney says that. He's upset.
It's topical for me because I have to go vote later today. So
Yeah, it is topical today. What are you voting for?
I'm voting for.
No, as in what is the vote for? Like Queensland Premier?
It's a fun question because I have no idea. So that
cool.
shows
That'll be
you
good.
how much I care. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Sorry to everyone who does care about politics, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah, whatever. They close the bars. I said, what was here we go, another one. What was a three-eyed fish's name?
Blinky?
It was Blinky. Well done.
Yeah.
Did you write that down?
No, I did not. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so they're looking on the cameras to promote someone, and in one of the cameras that Burns is looking at 14:26 in the episode, go back and watch this, it looks like Barney is working at the nuclear power plant. Did you see this?
I didn't. No.
It looks like Homer and a Moo Moo, but like I don't know. It looks like Barney.
Might have to go back and check that.
Yeah, and
Because
then
I don't think they would ever. I don't think they ever do that
yeah.
at
So
any other point. No, he's always
Nah.
just at the Bolarama.
Bolarama, or is it Moe's?
Wow.
Um, Yeah, caveman style Lenny and Carl at 1647. So they're getting ready to host Mr. Burns for dinner, and all the news people are there, and they're doing everyone's makeup, and the dog and cat are being brushed on a makeup chair or whatever by these two guys that look exactly like caveman versions of Lenny and Carl. Did you notice that?
No.
Go 1647. Go back and check
You're
that out.
paying a lot more attention to this episode than I was.
Yeah, my notes are too thorough sometimes, I think, though, because it's just like it sort of ruins the episode for me. But Homer reading from the card, I think that's funny. But Burns gives these cards, or Burns' assistants or whatever, his PR team give the cards to Lisa and Homer's reading from the card. It's just like so funny.
Well, I think because like a few minutes before that, he's like, "Oh, I have a very bright child. I'm sure she'll memorize that question before tomorrow evening or something." And then he doesn't memorize his question.
Yeah. So, Mr. Burns, do you? It's like calling the card. It's a dumb joke. But you didn't like this episode. Is that correct?
Yes, I did not like this episode. It is a bit of a stinker.
Wow.
I actually wrote a note in here. I paused this episode at 16 minutes 30 and just went, wow, I haven't laughed in like 12 minutes or something. It is
Wow.
very little of interest for me in this episode.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I think maybe the part where Bart says grace and he says, we paid for all this stuff ourselves, so thanks for nothing, might have been the funniest part of the episode, but...
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's probably the funniest part of the episode. And I liked the card bit. That was funny. I
don't think I even laughed. It was sort of just like a acknowledgement of something comedic.
I like the narrative revenge that Marge gets on Mr. Burns by serving him the fish that he
that is pretty good.
Mutated. I do like that. But okay, well should we go into our verdict on the episode itself?
Yeah, did you want to go first this time?
Yeah, okay. I gave it a B. That's where I was at with it.
What? A B?
Yeah.
Oh, we are so off. I gave this episode a rock bottom.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I'd ever choose to watch this episode again.
Yeah. When I think about it, I mean, I'm looking at the quotes that I've written down. It says, first, I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you? And then the guy says, I don't talk to my elders that way. That's the only joke-ish sort of thing. It's memorable. And the fact that Blinky's iconic as a Simpsons character.
I mean, the part where...
no, you know what? I'm going to do it like this. I could be swayed to go rock bottom.
we can meet in the middle again. Yeah.
I just choose not. Can we, for the listeners at home, can we differentiate what is choose not as opposed to rock bottom?
I think rock bottom is like you would actively avoid having anything. Like, there's no memes that come from this episode. There's no, like... You would actively avoid watching this episode if you can. You'd never seek out watching this episode. Whereas I think choose not to watch is while you're watching the season, you just skip it and you wouldn't think more about it. Like if I was watching the season through, choose would be I would skip this episode, go to the next episode. A rock bottom would be I would loudly announce to everyone around me that this episode is a steaming hot turd and I'm going to skip it.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy with either. You choose. I'm actually happy because I would skip this episode too. When you really come down to it, the jokes, there's no real jokes. The narrative is kind of interesting.
But
that's it. Maybe choose not is probably the most appropriate one then.
Yeah, I was probably going a bit hard on it, and you might have been going a bit soft on it. So,
Okay.
like I would definitely skip it, but maybe I wouldn't take the time to inform everyone around me that this is an awful episode.
Yeah, let's put in choose not.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Episode 5 is what we're up to. Dancing Homer. Mark Kirkland, which is a Kirk Van Houten, is the director. It's written by Ken Levine and David Isaacs. That's cool. November 8, so it was a week after 1990, and 26.1 million US viewers. So it's a lot lower viewership as well. Keeps going down. Disney Plus says this: Homer's success as the mascot of a minor league ball club earned him a shot at the majors. Yes.
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 I mean,
okay.
that is the whole point of the episode, isn't it? I do like the framing of this episode where he's telling the story in the bar.
I like that too. It's almost like a flashback thing where he's talking about what happened, why he didn't want to go to Capital
Forrest
City
Gump kind of thing. Yeah,
and I like that
it's
the
good.
capital city of their state is called Capital City because that's just the best.
Yeah.
I
Capital City.
never noticed that as a kid. Yeah. That was one of my questions to you. Homer fires up a crowd at a Springfield Isotopes game and is chosen to be the team's new mascot. He immediately becomes a popular attraction and the Isotopes start a winning streak. As a result, Homer is promoted to the team in Capital City. The Simpsons move to Capital City, but Homer fails to enthrall the crowd and returns home. Yeah, that's basically the idea behind the episode. They're not okay. So the audio for the song intro was all wacky. I said it isolated certain sound effects and amplified others. It was really strange. All the sound effects for the most part were amplified and isolated, and then the actual music itself was I don't know, it sounded weird. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't. But I mean, you're like an audiophile, so you'd notice that sort of stuff. I definitely didn't notice.
Yeah.
So I guess the casual layman viewer wouldn't.
Yeah, the casual viewer is probably skipping the intro anyway with the skip intro Disney Plus button. But I like that Homer's describing. So he's describing what happened in Capital City to the guys, and he says, he goes, I was out, at a ball game with the work for work or whatever, with the boss, and it was spouse and no more than 3 children night, which is the stupidest.
I did laugh at that actually. Yeah,
it's a stupid night idea.
I mean, Burns is getting a lot of action in this season, isn't he? So far,
yeah. Burns has been in every episode basically so far. But has trouble last episode. But this episode, they say he's the safest energy. Burns got in trouble last episode, but at the start when he's introduced on the pitch, at the start they say that the power plant is the safest energy provider and whatever. He must have paid someone off really well there.
Yeah, or he somehow stole $56 million.
Yeah, well, that's it. I thought he was a millionaire. I don't get that, but yeah. Burns' voice is better this episode, but Bleeding Gums sounds nothing like with his singing voice. So Bleeding Gums sings the anthem. He sounds nothing
Actually, you know what? I have a trivia question for you. How long did his national anthem go for?
Oh, God.
I did the maths on that.
It always feels like a long time, but I reckon maybe
I'm talking about according to the episode, not according to the Disney runtime.
Is there a clock? There?
Yeah, there's a clock behind him.
10 minutes?
Right. Nope, more.
15 minutes.
More. Add them together.
Minutes.
26 minutes.
Oh my God.
It starts at 7:30 and then he ends at 7:56.
Jesus. And he's doing all the trills and that and elongating every single word. And he's like,
26 minutes, Jared. I could have finished a round of Helldivers 2 in that amount of time.
Jesus, that's actually nightmarish.
Yeah.
He didn't sound anything. He's a good singer, but he didn't sound anything like Bleeding Gums Murphy. They use the word fanny. You can't wave your fanny in public. Fanny in Australia means something very different.
I think, and the UK, right?
And the UK, maybe. Yeah, which is weird.
Commonwealth countries.
Oh yeah, so this is my trivia question for you. Okay, so actually no, sorry, this isn't my trivia question. This is a bit of insight for you. So Burns said he was. How old did he say he was a few episodes ago?
81.
In 1990, he said he was 81, right? Then Homer and Burns sit down and they're watching the baseball game and they're having a good time together and drinking beers. And Burns says, "I used to rile up the late Connie Mack. Mack lived, whenever he watched." Now Mack, let me explain. Connie Mack, I looked this guy up. 1862 to 1956. So he was born in 1862. He played from 1886 to 1896. So he played for 10 years, 10 seasons, whatever. But Burns said that in episode 2 that he was 81 in 1990, meaning he was born in either 1901 or 1909. But Connie Mack played in 1886 to 1896.
So he would have missed the professional career if he is 81. But, maybe he did like all-star games or something like that.
So when Burns was born, Connie Mack was what? How old?
Pretty damn old, but he was outside of the playing career that you said by.
Well, he was born in 1862, and Burns was born in 1908. Let's say so. 1908. Take 1862. He was 46 when Burns was born. Let's say Burns watched him when he was 15. That means that he was 61 years old when Burns saw him play.
Well, I mean, when they're going to the ball game, isn't that one of the things that Bart says that he wants to see washed up ex-major leagues?
Yeah, but when they refer to washed up ex-major leaguers, you're watching washed up ex-AFL and ex-NRL or whatever players, or ex-soccer players. They're always in their 40s max. 61's
I think
old.
baseball you can get away with it for no offense to baseball players and enjoyers of the sport, but I think you can get away with it a bit better in baseball than you can in some other sports.
No, but I mean every offense in that. No, you can probably play 192.
What's your job? I stand here and I catch the ball. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, cool. I mean, so I don't, whatever.
I mean, we're both cricket enjoyers, so similar sport, really.
Yeah, it's boring. It's boring and it's great at the same time. I get why people say they don't like cricket, and I get why people say they don't like baseball.
But I don't think you can, I feel like you could play baseball, well into your 60s easily.
Yeah, that's it. Some good quotes in this episode. At 10:53, so they go back to the kitchen in the morning after Homer, has drinks with Burns and says, we're not going to get a drug test tomorrow about beer. I don't know if you get drug tested for beer. I don't know if that's a thing. But in the morning, it's really bright. Did you notice how bright it was at 10:53 in the morning when they woke up the next day?
No.
Maybe it was my TV, but it was really, really bright. Yeah.
Just really oversaturated kind of thing, or what?
No, it wasn't even oversaturated. It was like the brightness was turned up. It wasn't even about color. It was about brightness. It was like the screen was bright. I don't know. It must have been a TV thing.
Weird.
Homer made a full out. So Homer sort of committed to doing the dancing Homer thing because he danced and they loved him at the Isotopes game. And then he committed to it and he made an outfit in one night. He made a full outfit with like suspenders and a cape and like a t-shirt.
Well, I mean, it's a shirt with a letter on it and some suspenders and a hat. And then,
yeah, true.
I mean,
maybe
the cape is. Yeah, well, knowing Homer,
he had the shirt with a letter on it already. They were at a game. It would have finished late. Until the game finished at 7:30. What's open at 7:30 that you can make a lettered shirt with?
That Homer can make a lettered shirt with. If he'd said that he had help from Marge, I'd believe it. But
yeah, and 7:30 is being generous. The game wouldn't finish at 7:30. I'm just thinking about it. Someone better have got fired for that blunder.
Just fire the whole crew and cast.
Marge says, a Simpson on a t-shirt. I never thought I'd see the day. But Homer was in the B Sharps.
Yeah.
Homer was in the B Sharps.
Records on probably Rolling Stone magazine. Or
maybe he wasn't on a t-shirt though.
Yeah, no. Everything but a t-shirt. They didn't realise how good merch was back then. The astronomical profit margins of merch.
Yeah, too much to make a t-shirt, even though Homer made a t-shirt in one night. Yeah, maybe. Groening must have had inspo for the Hermes Conrad character from the Jamaican Isotopes fans. You see those two Jamaican dudes that look exactly like Hermes Conrad?
Actually, I do know what you're talking about.
It's like, they don't even look like they're Simpsons characters. They look like they're Futurama or Arthur characters.
I mean, if we're mentioning characters that didn't look like them, the family that greets Burns before the Simpsons, I think they're like the Gammels or something.
Yeah.
They're like really, really pasty white. They're like the Wendell kid that Bart is sometimes friends with. It's like a whole family of Wendells.
Maybe they're vampires that Burns converted in his vampire lair. I don't know.
It's weird.
And then, I mean, the organist's name is Helen. That's another thing. Does she look like a Helen? She looks like a decrepit witch. Sorry, but a Helen. Hey, Helen. Helen sounds like a younger. I'm not saying she's young. She should be young, but she should be younger than that.
How many young Helens do you know?
I don't know, but I feel like not young, but 40s, 50s. I don't know. And then why is Homer, when Homer leaves the Isotopes, he says goodbye to everyone. Why is it in black and white?
Oh, just to make it more emotionally impactful. I mean, maybe it's meant to be a reference to some famous speech or something that was done in the US somewhere.
Yeah, and they it's good. They got Tony Bennett to sing a song called Capital City in this. I'm going to Capital City or whatever.
Yeah.
In this, and then they see Tony Bennett at Capital City, like doing a show or whatever, as they're driving there, which is funny.
They must have had him for a couple of hours.
Yeah, so maybe. Yes. Like, hey, do you want to be in the episode for 2 seconds? I like when Homer, they ask if Homer wants to go to the major leagues, and Homer's like, do I go to the major leagues or whatever? And he goes, but I got to think of a name. And then some guy goes, get on the bus, Dancing Homer. And he goes, will you shut up? I'm trying to think of a name. Which, trivia fact, Fall Out Boy got their name from someone yelling out Fall Out Boy at a show. They said the name, and they said a Simpsons name, and someone yelled out Fall Out Boy, and that's how they changed their name.
All right. What were they called before Fall Out Boy?
I don't know. I don't think they had a name. I think that was the point. It was like a showing Chicago or something, and someone yelled out.
Well, I mean, I think like completely different band or group, but I think Daft Punk got their name from like a magazine review of them describing their style as Daft Punk. So,
that's really good. I actually like that. Oh, anyway, so Homer leaves Capital City, has a terrible time because no one was enthralled by him, and as he's narrating the story to his mates in the bar, he's like, my wife and kids stood by me. On the way home, I realized how little that helped, which is like a good joke. That was a good one.
I've got a question for you. Is this the first, like, outlandish sort of plot that they do? Like, obviously later on, Homer goes to space and all sorts of ridiculous things like that, tours with the Smashing Pumpkins and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But is this the first time where it sort of starts getting a bit ridiculous? Like,
is it that wacky? I feel like this is not that wacky. I don't feel like this is...
It's not on the same level as going to space, but it's still like a pretty absurdist kind of plot. What if Homer is a famous mascot for a team? Like, it's pretty far removed from...
I guess
Lisa's
Bart gets an
sad
F
and has depression.
Yeah. True.
Bart gets an F on his exam.
Yeah, true. Bart the General's a pretty wacky plot, like in terms of becoming
True. Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, I think it's
maybe the Crepes of Wrath episode.
Plot.
Maybe the Crepes of Wrath episode.
Yeah, good point.
Where they go to France. Maybe
Bart's a slave, basically. Yeah.
Maybe that's about it.
And the
Krusty
nuclear
gets busted.
codes or whatever.
Yeah, But you're right. This is the most like effort-driven one where it's like they actually have to move towns and stuff. Like that's a lot of effort. That's a big decision to make. Whereas
it's
going
not
to France
everyday sort of family sitcom thing. Like one of the kids is sad, a kid fails an exam.
Yeah, got to win the
How
ball
would
game
the parents
or whatever.
deal with adultery? It's pretty
it's a
distant
significant
from what most American nuclear families would experience.
Yeah. I sort of liked the episode, kind of. That's the thing. Like, I feel like you're going to give it a C.
Mm-hmm.
I could be there as well.
I think so. I did give it a C if you wanted to. I did give it a C.
Because I remember at the start you said you didn't. You said, I don't think you liked it. I could go with a C too.
Yeah.
There's not many jokes.
No.
I hadn't seen. This is my exact wording for this. My general thought was it was okay. I probably enjoyed it more because I hadn't seen it in ages. I don't know.
And I think, like I said, I like the framing and that sort of thing, but just I don't think they really did a lot with it. It was he's a famous mascot. He tries for the big leagues. He doesn't make it. Oh well.
Yeah,
that's the
also
end.
Like the big failure is they don't find him interesting, which is a massive failure.
Yeah,
but it's like then he goes home.
Not a very interesting one.
Yeah, it's not a very interesting failure. So yeah, okay, it's pretty meager failure. So I'd put it in C then too. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one. I think that's pretty like I probably wouldn't watch it on my own accord. If it was on, I'd maybe watch it. But yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, cool. So we're up to episode 6. We got what's this? 3 more episodes to go. Dead Putting Society. I don't know how to feel about this one. It's a strange one. We introduced to Ned Flanders a bit more here. So my details are this, right? Dead Punning Society, episode 6, directed by Richard Moore, written by Jeff Martin, November 15, 1990, 25.4 million viewers. Every episode, the viewership's gone down, which is interesting to me.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe I am wrong. I
had to pray for strength getting through this episode.
Wow, I can't believe you're saying that because I put it in. I'm not going to say it, but I'm just going to look what I put it in.
You put it somewhere high.
Oh my god! Oh my god! God!
This is a garbage jump in the Philippines level of stinky. I did not.
Oh my god! I can't. What was I thinking? I must just wanted to get through it. I don't know. I must have just oh yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. Anyway, so Lisa gives Bart tips on handling the pressure in a mini golf grudge match with the neighbor's son. It's pretty accurate, I guess.
Yeah. Succinct. That's it.
It's just with the neighbor's son. You mean Todd?
Rod or Todd? I'm pretty sure it's Todd.
Todd Flanders. Yeah, I remember this because Todd's the short one. Rod's the tall, weird one. You don't see Rod in this episode ever.
No. Yeah, he's just not in it. Yeah.
Oh, but he's in the actual image that we have on the Disney Plus episode. He's standing in front of Ned watching Todd, and standing in front of his mum and Ned watching Todd. Yeah, Putt. That's weird.
Oh.
Anyway,
so he just came to support him, but not.
Yeah, that's it. But you don't see him ever
participate in any discussions. Yeah,
ever or do anything. Ned Flanders invites Homer to his house for a beer. Homer, seeing how nice Ned's house is, becomes jealous, causing Flanders to angrily ask him to leave. Flanders immediately regrets his outburst and tries to make up with Homer, who remains defiant. One day while mini golfing, Bart and Flanders' son Todd decide to enter a tournament. Homer becomes confident that Bart will win and makes a bet with Ned. The father of the boy who does not win will have to mow their neighbour's lawn in their wife's Sunday dress. On the day of the tournament, Bart and Todd make the finals but decide to call it a draw, forcing both Homer and Ned to fulfill the requirement of the bet.
Yep.
Okay, so Bart starts off with Bart's doing a science project. His science project, so he needs Homer to keep it down or whatever, I guess. He's got a potato in a glass of water. No changes.
And I'm pretty sure you see it later in the episode as well, so they kept that consistent, which is pretty good. Like you see the potato on his desk there still.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I didn't notice. I
have a similar sort of comment about Flanders' rumpus room as well. If you paid attention to the stuff that was in his room.
Oh, I didn't. I said Flanders seems like less of a jerk here in comparison to season 1. He's being way more helpful to Homer, but he does get angry at Homer, obviously. But he feels guilty about it, so I guess he's slowly becoming
the Flanders we know.
That. Yeah, the Flanders we know, and we meet Maud too. She's such a fox.
You
what's
see
fox
him. He's starting his path to becoming more religious as well because he has 2 phone numbers for Reverend Doddy on his phone for speed dial. So
yeah, 100%. He calls the Reverend too in this episode, which is the first time he does that. But Todd kisses Flanders and says "toodly doodly."
Yeah.
Oh God.
We'll move on. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, I wasn't
sympathizing with Homer here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so anyway, Homer gets upset, going to the rumpus room, and he goes, "I get it. Your family's better than me. You have better stuff than me. Whatever." Homer gets upset, and then he tries to tell Marge in the bed why he's so angry, and he goes, "What?" He goes, "You should have heard Flanders a big jerk. What he said to me today." And then Marge goes, "What he said? What he said? Well, it wasn't what he said, but it's how he said it." And she goes, "How does he say it?" And he goes, "Well, it wasn't how he said it either, but it's just
he made it very clear.
He made it very clear. It's just it's actually so accurate too. They get upset at someone. It's just I guess why. Is this where we meet the Rev? I don't think it is. We meet Reverend Lovejoy in Ned's
quote. Well, because it cuts from this to Flanders and Maud in their bed, and Flanders is tossing and turning as well. And she says, you shouldn't be speaking to me. You should be speaking to someone else. And so he speed dials Reverend.
Yeah, but is this the first episode we meet the Reverend?
Oh, sorry. Maybe. I don't actually remember.
I can't remember. Anyway, so Flanders feels guilty and leaves a note saying, "You are my." And the Simpsons are sitting down the next day reading it and laughing about it. "You are my brother. I love you, and yet I feel a great sadness in my bosom. Neighbors forever." That's so funny. And then there's the math fair. So Lisa mentioned she's got the math fair. What is the math fair? Is that a thing? The math fair.
I mean, there was a maths thing when we were in school. What were they called? Like the mathletics, math Olympians.
I wasn't invited, so clearly.
Yeah, well, they sent me a letter. I ignored it.
I got the invite instead, which
yeah, cut that. Let me write that down.
Yeah, okay, I'll cut that. It's gonna be. I had the beep invite instead. You people write in crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com. What did Jared say? Lisa would bring home a new protractor. Homer says, "Too bad we don't live on a farm."
Yeah, I laughed at that. I wrote that down as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. If I win, I'll bring home a new protractor. Yeah, it's too bad we don't live on a farm. A protractor. That's stupid. I had to explain that to everyone, just for the listeners out there that joined me in the thing that I got an invite to. What are the chances? Should I cut that out too?
Jesus Christ!
I might have to cut that out.
Let me write that one down as well.
Yeah. Anyway, the next day, Homer and Bart are mini golfing and going for a hot frosty chocolate milkshakes or whatever they're going for. And what are the chances Flanders and Todd are mini golfing and Todd's wearing a beret and like a full on plaid like outfit? What are the chances of that
like
happening?
a old school golf get up in the old traditional way. The chances, I mean, Springfield's pretty small, I suppose. What have you got to do? Bowlerama and the mini golf, apparently. They go to the mini golf quite a bit,
fishing in the lake.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then get approached by weird men.
Yeah, true. Maybe that's why they go to the lake and they went to mini golf instead. But I guess Marge and Homer were naked at the mini golf. Anyway, whatever. I digress. So there's a tournament going on, and Todd goes, "Wow, $50 for the first prize," and Bart goes, "Whoa, free balloon to anyone that enters." So that's clearly, that's where that's why Flanders, they aspire for more. So maybe that's why they're doing better in life. Now I did the math back on what I did the math. This is some more math trivia.
Yep.
I did the math on this. $50 back in 1990. What would $50 be? 143% inflation. What would $50 be right now in 2024?
Are you doing this again?
Tell me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. 127.
Oh, 118.
Somewhere
That's
around.
pretty close.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. $118. 72. Yeah. I like that. So anyway, so they make a bet, Homer and Flanders, because Homer gets annoyed. It's like, my son will beat your son at this or whatever. And then they start practicing, and there's this quote where Homer's teaching Bart, and he goes, "Okay, now lift your head and follow through." And Bart misses it, and he goes, "Okay, now that didn't work. Keep your head down and don't follow through." So it's just, I think, did you find that funny? I found that hilarious.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
he's like,
it's
because it just sounds like he's teaching Bart how to, he's like, "Now lift your head and follow through." And then he doesn't work. He's like, "Okay, that didn't work." It's just, I thought it was a dumb joke, but sorry, I need water.
Thirsty.
Okay, trivia. Bart's putter's name.
Oh, you do see it for, I didn't write it down, but yeah, you do. I did notice you do see it, but I didn't think to.
No, they even discuss it.
Do they?
Homer says, "You got to name your putter," and Bart says, "I don't know," and he goes, "Yeah."
Like Charlene or something.
Oh, that's it. It's Charlene. Yeah.
Charlene.
Yeah,
But
Charlene.
Isn't one of the clubs like engraved, or is that maybe Todd's that's engraved?
Might be Todd's.
One of the clubs is engraved.
I didn't see that. Oh, damn. Go back and watch that. At 11:55 in the episode, Homer uses the first Flanders's term ever. Homer says the Flanders's.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Yeah.
Lisa's nerdiness is solidified in this episode. She's helping Bart get better, and she says they need, to use geometry or whatever.
Meditation and all that sort of stuff.
Meditation and whatever. And she goes to the library, and everyone knows her. Yeah. So there's a montage of them practicing, and in the back of the pool or pool room, did you see who was playing in the back?
I mean, you see the bullies playing pool in the background.
Yep. Kearney,
like
Jimbo,
Kearney
and Dolph.
Jimbo.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
But you also see what looks like Krusty out of Krusty makeup and stuff take them off the table. So you know how they get like yanked off the billiards table, Bart and Lisa?
Yeah.
One of them is like Krusty but without his makeup and stuff. But did you notice?
Yeah, it happens so quick because I get pulled off the table so quick.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you don't really see Krusty outside of his makeup very often anymore, so they probably got over that.
Yeah. I mean, Flanders says some things that are unlike him. He says jackaninny, which is, I looked that up. It was a real word. He calls Homer a jackaninny, which means a foolish person, which I didn't actually know was a word. I thought it was just a word he made up.
Jackaninny for not knowing that.
Yeah, I feel like a real jackaninny, you guys. But and he says, "Mercy is for the weak, Todd," which is like, Jesus, that's not what Flanders says. And Flanders was in a fraternity.
A real First Testament Flanders, yeah.
What did Flanders study? Left-handedness.
I don't think it's ever mentioned again. Oh, yeah. Well, let's just say he got like an MBA, business school.
Yeah, okay, yeah, business school, sure. There were people cleaning the golf hole like fixtures, which is that a thing people do at mini golf? Do people clean them? I've been to mini golf a bunch of times.
Either, yeah, they're never clean.
They're never clean. They're dirty as, and they're old and rusted and whatever. And this, my last thing is like, there's a scene where Homer's trying on his dress because he's like, Bart's gonna lose or whatever. He's worried. He's like, which one looks better? And it's like a 2-second scene. They don't do that later on, but I don't know. It's almost like a waste of a scene. It's like you don't need it. You know,
just because Homer's anger or something, is it?
Yeah, maybe it could be a runtime thing. Could be like a Homer. Like we need to show that Homer is nervous about losing, but his nervousness is shown in the way he's angry at Bart for not practicing correctly or whatever. You know,
just a quick like away from Bart nervousness that he's not confident that he'll win or whatever.
So they were my notes.
I mean, it adds it. You know, I don't feel like it's unnecessary. It does add to the
it's relevant, but it's just like it wasn't. I don't think it was necessary in that it seemed like it was just like because it's such a short scene. It cut to the house to show that one thing, and then it cut, like it faded out, just, whatever happened after that, like an ad or whatever. I don't know. Okay, so, I mean, what are your opinions on the episode? What do you reckon?
I mean, I think this episode has value because it fleshes out the Flanders flock.
Yep.
And what their characters sort of become, but, gee, it's a bit of a stinker.
Yeah.
I think the stuff with Lisa and Bart getting along and sort of working together and all that sort of stuff is pretty good. Like,
and even when she says like, good luck or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, man.
Yeah. Sibling. Yeah, exactly that scene. So, I mean, it has value, but I wouldn't choose to watch it again. So it's a C, choose not to watch.
Yeah, I put in the same category.
I didn't. I
didn't put it in the same category, but I'm not going to say what I put it in. And I'm going to say it's a choose not to watch as well.
What did you put it in?
I'm actually ashamed to say it because thinking back, it's actually a bad episode.
What did you give it?
I feel like if I tell you what I gave it, I lose all credibility as anyone that.
Oh my god!
I feel like I tell you what I put it in, I lose all credibility as anyone that. I don't know. Anyone that... Jesus.
Well, you're ashamed of your answers.
Yeah, I feel like to the listener, they go, Jared put it in whatever tier, and now he's saying it's C, like his credibility for actually selecting what tier it's in. But I'm thinking about it now in my brain, and I go, I had an entertaining enough time watching the episode, but it's not actually that good of an episode in comparison to other episodes, and there's no real jokes. I've got no quotes, really. I'm going to put it in C, but I put it in A originally.
Okay. So, I mean, okay, I was worried that you'd done like an S or something.
A is pretty good, because I said it was awesome to the max. So it probably didn't deserve an A at all. I mean, B, but I'm happy to move down now that I think about it. So I would say what I would have put it in originally should have been about a B. Bad to the bone, average as, but choose not to watch. If it's on, it's on, but I wouldn't actively go out of my way to seek it out. That's where it would be.
I would probably, I'd probably skip it. So
Yeah. So let's go. CCC, Choo Choo Choose not to watch. I was going to say CCC not to
That's
watch.
a C.
Choo Choo Choose not to watch.
Ch-ch-ch.
Choose not to watch. Well, let's go episode 7. We're almost there, guys. This is actually a quicker podcast than normal, I think. An hour and a half so far.
Yeah, we got to blast through them.
We are smashing
Bart
through them. 7
versus
episodes.
Thanksgiving.
Bart vs. Thanksgiving, directed by David Silverman, written by George Meyer, and November 22, 1990. That's almost your birthday. 10 days after my birthday, 4 days before your birthday. Can you believe it? 25.9 million viewers. It's gone up somehow.
And my bank account details are...
Yeah. And, remember the street you live on right now is...
my first pet's name was, and my mother's maiden name.
Your mother's maiden name, and the first band you went and saw live is...
Yeah.
So Bart versus Thanksgiving. Okay, can I get an idea of what you thought about this episode now? Because I'm interested.
All right, look, I'll read this verbatim. What have I done to anger Matt Groening and his friends? Why do I deserve this onslaught of bad episodes, this ceaseless barrage of stinkers and dookie?
Oh my God. We are so off today, dude. Our chakras are so not aligned.
Yeah.
Mercury must be so retrograding right now. Dude, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. On Thanksgiving, Bart runs away after accidentally wrecking Lisa's centerpiece. I mean, does he accidentally wreck Lisa's centerpiece?
Well, he intentionally got rid of it, but I guess he didn't intend for it to end in the fire.
Well, okay, here's the description that I've got here. It says, when he is blamed for ruining Thanksgiving, Bart runs away and finds a soup kitchen and some homeless men. Eventually, Bart returns home, intending to apologize, but has last-minute thoughts and climbs to the roof of the Simpsons' house, where he hears Lisa sobbing. He apologizes to her, and the family happily enjoys a meal of leftovers. I like the meta. I like the meta idea at the start where they're watching the parade.
The Bart balloon, yeah.
Bart balloon is a very meta thing. Like, who makes a cartoon balloon and then Bart's a balloon in the parade? That's funny.
Well, I think the quote is like, they're making balloons for these, like, what does Homer say? Drop in the pan or something like that?
Drop in the pan.
Flash in the pan cartoons.
Old school cartoons. Homer's a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I like that. He goes, Homer goes, see, Maggie, Dallas is Daddy's favorite team, and he wants them to lose by at least 5.5 points or whatever, because he's put the spread on.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Weren't we talking about this in the first episode about sports betting
not being
and gambling?
a big thing? Yeah, maybe it must have been a thing where they're from. I don't know. We had a lot of people write in, but I just, there's too many emails to read through, so I just thought, let's just move on.
Yeah, look, I'm going to do another verbatim thing from my notes. At one point, I just started soullessly and emotionlessly writing down the chain of events. Lisa is making a centerpiece for the feast. Homer is watching the football. Patty and Selma arrive. Homer goes to pick up Abe. Marge's mother arrives. Homer is lighting a fire. Wow, dinner's ready. Gee, a whole lot of nothing is happening.
Stuff said, the Dallas Cowboys jokes. I'm actually, I'm thinking back, are you swaying me here? Or why did I put it so high?
I feel like nothing happens until, the one, the major thing that happens, but it takes so long to get there.
Yeah. Hooray for everything. It's like a positive band that's playing at the whatever game they're watching, the Super Bowl. No, it's not. It's whatever game they're watching. And this one's dedicated to the Western Hemisphere, the greatest hemisphere of them all, or whatever, which is a dumb joke. The nursing home joke. So Homer goes to pick up his dad at the nursing home. That's depressing.
Yeah.
Is that depressing? That's so depressing.
Yeah. These people wish they could be here.
Yeah, it's like, this is for all the residents. This is for, they've got a list of residents, and hey, your mother writes in, says she wishes they could be here. It's just like, and they're all like, I knew they didn't forget us. I'm like,
yeah, I knew they
sad.
wouldn't forget me. Yeah, gee.
I didn't like that. Marge's mum for the first time, she's a miserable trollop.
Yeah.
I don't like her. She's just so negative.
My throat's sore, so I'll only say one thing. I wish I wasn't here. Or
yeah, whatever it was, or like you'll never do anything right.
yeah, that's it.
Like, but that's what Abe turns into, because Abe's not like that right now. Abe turns into that, and then Marge's mum turns into, not that.
Not that, but yeah, that's I guess that sort of Abe morphs into that, and like a terrible father to Homer.
Yeah. And I feel like in this episode, I empathize with Bart a lot. I don't know why I shouldn't. Bart ruins Lisa's centerpiece by trying to move it off the table. He's being an annoying nuisance. I've been there as a kid, especially. And I still feel bad for Bart. He's like, what did I do wrong? It's like, he did do something wrong. It was his fault, but I also felt bad for Bart somehow.
I mean, I guess as a parent, you need to, neither of us are parents, but, teach your kids the right ways to do things. But Marge definitely overreacts to Bart, saying he ruined Thanksgiving. That's like the kind of shit that would stick with you, hey? Like,
I don't know. I feel like
if you ruined a major family holiday, everyone sort of remembers that. And as a 10-year-old, that would probably be some source of trauma later in life.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah. I mean, he did ruin Lisa's centerpiece and burn it to smithereens that she worked on for hours. So, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't... Maybe she went a bit far, but she definitely should have got in trouble. He was being a bit annoying.
Yeah, definitely in trouble, but like... obviously, it's hard being a parent and saying the right thing 24/7, 100% of the time, but it was a bit harsh.
Yeah. Now, Bart leaves the house and runs away or whatever with the dog, who gets kicked out too, and they go past, because he's starving to death, even though it's been a few hours. He's starving to death and he wants food.
Yeah.
And they're giving out free, I don't know, turkey or whatever with blood donation. So he goes in, gives Homer's credit card, Homer's ID, and says, yeah, my name's Homer. I'd like to get a free $12 and some turkey for donating blood, right? Now, I did the math on this, and $12 in 1990... What would $12 in 1990 be today?
I signed up for a Simpsons podcast, not a maths podcast.
What would $12 in 1990 be today, Isaac?
Christ.
103% inflation.
It's 29.
Oh, $28.49. Okay, you're getting better at it. I feel like we're all learning something today. The homeless guys on the wrong side of the tracks are represented as better than the French somehow. Like, these homeless guys on the wrong side of the tracks are represented as really friendly, and so they find Bart in a gutter because he gave too much blood and he's not the correct weight, so I don't know, whatever. And like, the French people in this show are represented as terrible, and these homeless guys are represented as like caring and whatever. I don't know. That's
if there was a homeless French person, how would they go?
Oh, that's hard, isn't it? Do they find a happy medium?
It's just a neutral person all around.
Yeah.
True neutral. Yeah.
I mean, she's a massive nerd. I said Lisa's so annoying reading her lame-ass poem.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Did you find her annoying reading that?
Do we just want to get into it now? Offense to all poets. We have
offense
no
to
respect
all poets
for you.
and people named Lisa. Get over yourself.
Oh, actually, okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going hard on the poets, but yeah, we can lay off the Lisas.
Yeah. Yeah, well, write in if your name's Lisa. Cracker Factory Podcast.
Don't write in if you're a poet, because I'm sure whatever you write in will be truly awful to read. Yeah.
The famous quote, oh, hello, operator, give me the number for 911. Homer, which I never got but as a kid, but now I get it. That 911 refers to emergency.
Yeah.
It's like saying, give me the number for emergency, yeah.
Yeah. Decent line. Pretty good.
Yeah. Introduction to police officer Eddie. Eddie gets introduced with what's the other guy's name? Lou. Eddie and Lou. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Question for you. Which hands...
If it's maths, I'm sorry.
It's not a math one, unfortunately for you. Which hands... We're close. Which hands do the homeless people wave with? The guy on the right and the guy on the left. Which one waves with which hand?
Oh. I feel like you would have brought this up because it must be bizarre.
It is bizarre.
So, are they standing like shoulder to shoulder?
They are standing shoulder to shoulder with their backs to the camera, facing Bart as he walks away.
Are they both using their inside hand? Like like the guy on the left is using his right arm and the guy on the right is using his left arm.
That would look weirder because they would cross over a bit there. But it's sort of the opposite. They're both using their outside hand.
Right. Okay.
Which it looks weird. It looks, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but it looks weird. Why couldn't they both use their right hand? Maybe the other guy's left. The guy on the left's left-handed. I don't know.
I mean, it just has to be an animation thing, right? Like, because if it's in between them, it would be harder to animate it or to show that they're waving or something. But
yeah, maybe it would have impacted Bart walking. No, I doubt it. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I mean, it was an animation thing, but it's just something to think about. Yeah, I don't know. Abe said, if I'm not home by 9, they declare me legally dead and collect my insurance, which is good.
I giggled at that, and I can't really remember any other part that I laughed at, if I'm being honest.
It wasn't a lot. Bart always has these terrifying visions. He always has these terrifying visions. Especially the first sort of 4 seasons, he has these visions. I think he's got like ADHD or something. Or I don't know, or something. I don't know. I feel like because his mind just races a lot. Maggie talks for the first time in this episode.
Soothsayer or something.
Yeah, soothsayer. Let's say that he's got. He's a psychic ability. Maggie talks. What does Maggie say? You remember that?
Oh, this is why. Oh, you're why I can't speak yet.
Yeah,
or something
it's your
like
fault
that.
I can't talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Which is probably the only time I ever hear.
I can't talk. Which is.
Yeah, and then they probably never get her to talk again until she says "Dada" in that one episode way later.
Yeah, that's cute. Lisa was able to find something in Bart 2 episodes in a row. Yeah, she found something in Bart this episode, and she found that sort of like that that I don't know, that like that Bart's inner thought in terms of like thinking about. I've forgotten the word. This is how tired I am on a Saturday morning. That. Yeah, I don't know. Bart's philosophical side when he looks into himself in the episode before
like
this.
Like an introspective sort of.
Yeah, introspective in some regards, thinking about thinking. And then, I don't know. She makes him feel guilty here. And then the cat and dog are well trained and don't start eating until the Simpsons are finished saying grace, which is great at the end.
Yeah.
Why did I give this episode such a high glowing review?
I mean, it is good for Lisa and Bart relationship development, like the last episode as well. So, I think that's good. Like the scene on top of the roof where they're talking and all that sort of stuff. But it's still a weak episode, man. Like,
what okay. I'm gonna move down because it's weird how you think of it after the fact and you go. If I think of it now and I don't actually want to watch it, like if I think of episodes right now, it's not one of the episodes I won't want to watch. It can't be an S tier, but I put this in S tier. Yeah,
you put this in S.
Yeah.
Oh my lord!
I wrote episode was great, better than I remember, and the jokes are good.
What? What jokes? What jokes? What jokes?
I don't know.
Sorry, my audio spiked really.
That was probably appropriate in this instance. I don't know. I'm taking it down. I'm happy to take it down. What did you give it? If you gave it a C, I'll be surprised.
Don't be surprised because I did. But remember, a few episodes back, I said that there's some truly awful like audio poison. Go back and listen to the feast that they have at the end of the episode when they're eating like the sandwiches or something.
Yeah, and it like it like fades out.
It is awful. Like it's like they put a mic next to a slobbering dog eating yuck. I don't know. They gave a dog like macaroni and cheese and just let it go to it's awful.
Yeah.
And it's, 5 characters or something all doing it at the same time.
Oh, God.
Poison to my ears.
I think because I watched it in the car as I was at one of the schools I was working at. I think I gave it... Man,
should we clarify whether you were driving while you were watching it? Or?
No, I was in my car, sitting in my car with my car turned off.
Okay, good.
I watched it on my phone. I'm happy to give it a B.
Yeah. Okay, but we're giving it a B based on the. It's another one of those like emotional, heartfelt episodes. That
it's kind of a classic. It's kind of
no comedic value in this episode.
Yeah, if I was to say the classics out of the last 6 episodes we've been through, I would say they're all like it's weird. They're all classics. I'd say Bart Gets an F is the main classic, even though I didn't like the episode that much.
Yeah,
and I'd say this is probably the second most classic episode out of all of them. I'd say maybe the Fish and Simpson and Delilah, and the Fish one are sort of close seconds.
But I mean, that's just famous because of the fish. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The rest of the episode is not remembered as
so I'd say that's why
fish.
exactly. Whereas this one is remembered as being sort of a secondary classic after Bart Gets an F. I would say personally, out of all the 6 episodes at least. Anyway,
it's like a formative episode for the relationship between the characters and stuff. But
yeah, for sure. But it's not actually. Yeah, you're right. I can't believe I put an S tier. That's crazy.
I can't believe you put an S tier. I can settle for a B. Like, I probably personally wouldn't watch this episode again, but
yeah, I've been drinking wine a lot lately. I think that's been sort of like shout out to Jacob's Creek, but maybe that's sort of like
sponsor of the episode.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe all the free endorsements we're getting from Jacob's Creek Merlot is what's sort of
it's really funny you mentioned that. Because that was one of my notes as well. About wine specifically. When Bart was like making his way up to the roof, I started to fall asleep. And we can blame that on maybe a couple of wines that I've had or the episodes. So
yeah, maybe it was the wine. I don't know. It's probably the episodes.
But then when Lisa got up on the roof, I woke back up because
that's the good part of that was a good part of the episode. I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
It was very heartfelt. She's like, look inside you. You're upset because you hurt my feelings and you destroyed everything I made. And you actually got it. He's like, oh yeah, right. He's like, what? Just because you worked really hard on it, and he thought about it. He's like, oh yeah, right. You worked really hard on it, and I destroyed it.
Yeah, and
which is
sad.
Nice. Bart has a conscience, which is nice. That's the first sort of instance you see of that for the most part. Can we chuck it in? Can we chuck it in B tier?
B, yeah, B. Just for that scene.
Yep, I'm happy with that. Oh my god! Do we preface this one before I write it down?
In what way? Like, because of?
I didn't like this episode. This next one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I still gave it a decent rating, but I didn't like it. This is probably in terms of classics. This is probably this next one, and Bart Gets an F are the 2 most classic episodes of this 6-7 episodes that we talked about.
Getting ahead of ourselves, but yeah, I gave this a better rating than the last few episodes, but not by much.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, there you go. I just gave you exactly the answer, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. So this is Bart the Daredevil, directed by Wes Archer, written by Jay Kogan and Wallace Wolodarski. December 6, 1990, 26.2 million viewers. It's gone up. They must have been promoting this well because the viewership's gone up. And it says on Disney Plus, after seeing a truck rally, Bart discovers his reason for living, a career in death defiance. This actually has a lot of good jokes in it, this episode. I'll be honest. Has plenty of good jokes. That's why I'm thinking back now because I'm like, I didn't like the episode that much, but why did I give it a decent score? Yeah, that's right. Heaps of good jokes.
As a kid, this episode has one of the Simpsons jokes that like used to have me in stitches with laughter. Like it's less funny as an adult, but it's very funny as a kid.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll get to it. It's like right at the end of the episode, but
okay. Simpsons go on a monster truck rally and that features famous Daredevil Lance Murdoch. He's the best. I love Lance Murdoch. He is so good. Bart immediately becomes enamored and decides he wants to become a Daredevil too. Bart's first stunt ends in injury, and despite the family and Dr. Hibbert, the first introduction of Dr. Hibbert's best efforts, he continues to attempt stunts. Bart decides to jump the Springfield Gorge, but Homer gets wind of the plan and makes Bart promise not to jump it. Bart immediately breaks his promise and goes to jump the gorge anyway, but Homer stops him just in time and finally gets Bart to swear he'll stop being a daredevil. Homer accidentally ends up having to jump the gorge himself, failing at the attempt. If that's what you're talking about as being the funny part,
Yeah, that scene where he falls, gets
maybe as a kid
saved, and then
funnier.
falls again. That used to make me laugh so much.
yeah. Actually, you know what? I think us talking about this episode now is going to make me bump it up. I think when you talk about the really rubbish episodes, they become less funny because, it's just like, who cares?
He's been really critical on it.
Yeah. Bart's upset about ruining, Thanksgiving. Who gives a shit? But in this one's good. So starts off with wrestling. Now this is something we got to talk about. I was a massive WWE fan.
Yes, you were.
You watched WWE or you knew about WWE?
Passing interest, like whenever I came to your place, would probably watch some of that, some of the Simpsons, and probably some Futurama. Play some Yu-Gi-Oh.
And maybe we'd play like WWE 2K or whatever it was.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but you knew of WWE, and they had the Rasputin, the mad Russian, who used to be a friendly Russian, which is funny. But I love that.
Professor.
I love that, like, it's so, the professor, and it's so, like, Lisa's like, this is so stupid. You know how fake it is? How does anyone believe this tripe? And then parallel edit, and Homer is watching it in the bar with the bar guys, and they're like, God, I hate I hate, the professor so much or whatever. It's just so dumb. And then, like, they're watching it, and all these things are happening, and then the wrench to the back of the head by the Russian, or the professor to the Russian.
Oh my God! They're grabbing the sledgehammer from under the ring.
So good.
Because that's what you'd always try and do in the games too. You just jump out of the ring,
chairs and sledgehammers and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
my God, he's grabbing an illegal item. Grabbing a guitar from someone in stage, just smashing it over Triple H's head or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what the hell? I loved that, though. I love that. The start of the episode's good so far.
It's good fun.
And then the Truckosaurus, the ad for the Speedway is like, get down to the Springfield Speedway. See your favorite Truckosaurus, Springfield. See, whatever. And it's like the
Saturday.
Speedway. It's that Truckosaurus.
It has a lot of that, like, open wide for some soccer.
Yeah, vibes. The Continental Soccer Association is coming to Springfield. See all your favorites. Fast scoring, big kicks, and ties. It's just the worst.
Ariaga too.
Bariaga, Aruglia, and Pete Salza. Anyway, Homer and Bart crying because they can't go to the monster truck rally because they have to go to Lisa's recital. It's actually pretty funny. Oh, cruel fate. And then Marge goes, we could go to both. We go to that first, and we go to that, and he goes, oh, Marge. He's like, he's like so happy that he can go to the monster truck rally. Poor Lisa just cops it. Lisa actually copped it this season.
Yeah, she did. She really did.
They go on about how, in various episodes, how Homer has no interest in any of her stuff. Any of it.
Yeah.
But they go to Lisa's recital before the monster truck rally, and they're playing Schubert's Unfinished Symphony, and Homer goes, oh, good, this shouldn't take long.
Yeah. If it's unfinished, it must be quite
unfinished. Quick. Yeah. But also, how are grade 2 kids playing this? How are grade 2 kids? It's crazy good. How are grade 2 kids playing that?
When did you start guitar? I think you were playing
grade
guitar.
3.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe grade 2, but probably grade 3. And I was trash. I was in grade 6 and I could barely play Mary Had a Little Lamb. Maybe, I'm not, maybe I'm the exception to the rule, but grade 2 playing this at this level is insane. Like having one virtuoso is crazy. I
did percussion and I could barely play like the Australian anthem by the time I'd finished up my tenure.
Yeah, right. But actually, I remember you doing percussion. You did lessons in primary school, didn't you?
Yeah.
At school?
I just wanted to play drums and they kept insisting on the glockenspiel, the coolest of all instruments.
Did you keep saying I want to play drums?
Yes. I just want to play drums. Sorry, we don't offer that. We offer percussion.
Prove yourself on the glockenspiel first. Prove yourself.
Yeah, you got to earn the drums.
As soon as you play Mary Had a Little Lamb, they're like, yeah, you're ready.
Yeah, he's ready. Give him the sticks.
He's ready. Hold on. And they just pull it out like a glass cabinet. It's just like... that's awesome.
You actually needed 3 keys to open it, and I had to impress all 3 judges. Yeah.
The choir teacher that used to use one of those like it's like a single note like tuner. You basically hit it on something and it rings. which is like the
tuning
lamest
fork
thing in the world. She had a
Yeah.
piano. She could just play the note on piano.
Yeah.
I think she just liked it because, what a douche.
I mean,
Anyway.
tuning forks are cool. I like a tuning fork.
No, they're bloody stupid. I like that. There's a thing out of Scary Movie where they're. We shouldn't even be bringing this up in the Simpsons podcast, but I'll say it anyway. Where there's like an 8 Mile spoof in like Scary Movie 3, Marlon Wayans, shout out, and the dude's like got one of those like those 4-6 note guitar tuners, and he hums like a harmonica thing, and he goes brr bitch brr ho, whatever he's treating himself at the start. It's actually the best. Maybe write that down. I might have to beep that out.
No, you know what? Let's just leave it in. That's what you
Leave
want.
it in. They say the word whore in The Simpsons, I'm pretty sure.
Do they?
Oh, they say slut. I know for a fact they say the word slut.
I don't remember that. Oh,
They say
get there,
bitch
won't
as
we?
well, because Bart refers to the female dog that Santa's little helper impregnates as a bitch.
I mean, they also say a word that I'm not going to repeat unless we want to write it down right now that we're going to beep it, but Martin says it. But I think you know the one I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to write down the time.
Oh, the bundle of sticks.
Yes.
That's pushing the boundaries. That must have been... Wow, that must have been the late 90s at least.
Yeah. I mean,
earlier.
even then it was probably pretty risky to say. These days you definitely don't say it.
Yeah. I like how so anyway, they're back to the recital. Sorry, we get sidetracked. Back to the recital and Todd is playing, the violin, like a solo. And then and Flanders is crying, goes, my son, my son. And then Homer goes, oh, come on, Flanders, he's not that bad.
Yeah, that got me. I did
That's
like
a pretty
that.
good joke. There's some good jokes at the start. And then anyway, so they drive to the monster truck rally after. Homer grabs Lisa and like she does she has a really cute bow as he's holding her, which is funny.
He
and then,
brings her back to stage to do the bow.
and then like he's like holding her in the air and then runs away. And they drive to the monster truck rally and Truckosaurus destroys their car while they're sitting in it. And the dude afterwards is like crushed windshield, teeth marks in the trunk. On the plus side, there doesn't seem to be any frame damage, but the whole car's destroyed. So dumb. But yeah. Oh, and then Lance Murdoch's introduction. He's the best.
He's good, yeah.
The part where he's on fire for 2 seconds as he's introducing his stunt. So he's wearing a fireproof suit and he's like, hey people. He like sets himself on fire as he's like, hey, I'm Lance Murdoch. And then they run up to him after like 2 seconds and put him out with an extinguisher. Which is the lamest thing in the world. But he's introducing it. And then, so his stunt is what? Can you explain the stunt that he's going to do in front of everyone during this monster truck rally?
Well, it's literally jumping the shark. Like that old saying, he is jumping a tank full of, I think it's, well, obviously sharks, but then electric eels, crocodiles, and then I think they tip a lion in there.
They put a lion from a cage in the water.
The king of the jungle, or whatever they say.
King of the jungle, they chuck him in the water. That's actually a good joke. The lion can't swim.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ, that's so good. So they've got this tank that he's jumping over with his motorbike, and it's got a shark, sharks or whatever. The great white shark, crocodiles, electric eels, and they put a lion in there too for some reason.
And a drop of human blood. Yeah.
Human blood to really like exacerbate everything, and it sets off all the electric eels and stuff. And he jumps it, and it's awesome. He jumps it, which is great. He jumps the tank. No one can watch except Bart. Bart's enthralled by it and watches it, and he makes the jump, and then he goes back up the ramp to say, you know what, and he falls in. And he gets attacked by the lion in the water. And as he's getting out, he's climbing out of the tank. The lion jumps up and grabs him back and gets him back in and starts attacking him in the water still, which is the funniest thing in the world.
It is good. It's good.
Yeah, and Dr. Hibbert sort of is introduced here, and Bart takes on the Daredevil thing and tries to jump some cars and goes straight up and falls flat on his back and hits his head or whatever. And he gets stitches and, Dr. Hibbert tries to dissuade Bart from doing the Daredevil thing, right? and he says, and he shows, he's like, let me take you in and show you. These are some kids that did stunts and they ended up, horrible. And there's one of the guys that got hit by the wrench, imitating something they saw in pro wrestling recently, which is pretty funny. And then he goes, and he goes, as he's doing this tour of the ward of these kids that were injured in stunts or whatever, he goes, and over there's the Three Stooges ward, which is one of the best jokes. Did you hear that joke?
Yeah. He says, I won't even show you the horrors of the Three Stooges ward.
The Three Stooges ward. Yeah, that's so good. He calls it the Three Stooges ward. Bart does some jumps and afterwards because he doesn't care and he ends up making it. And some of the lame things the kids say, what happening, Bart? And, oh, man, you're the king, after he does like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty lame, but and then Bart tries to do. He does something later. Like he does another stunt, and I can't remember what they're doing. You probably remember. And Otto's there. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Some of the other stunts, like when he jumps like a line of animals or something.
That's right. No, yeah, and he talks about it on the bus with Otto, and then Otto says, Bart, as the only adult here, I feel I should say something. And Bart goes, what? And he goes, cool. After he tells him. It's pretty funny.
Just before they like hop out of the bus, and then that's when they're at the gorge and he gets the idea.
Yeah. That's it. Gets it. Oh, that's right, because they're going on a field trip to the gorge, and he says he's going to jump the gorge. Otto's humming a song on the bus. You know what the song is? That song is like Foxy. You know that song?
What song is it?
Is it like Motley Crue or something? I don't know who it is. Hold on. It's Foxy by someone. I'm looking it up. Foxy song. It's like some random rock band.
Brief intermission while Jared Googles this song. So now that it's just you and me, listeners, I'd like to remind everyone, Jared is.
You better write down that timestamp.
Sure am.
Okay, you know what? I don't know who it is. Foxy. The song's called Foxy. You know what? Do them research, guys. Write in crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com. What song is it? Let us know. So Bart decides he's going to jump the gorge. He's on the bus and he goes, Otto, can I make an announcement to the kids? And he goes, sorry, Bart, speaker's only for emergencies. And Bart says, oh, but I was going to tell everyone I'm going to jump the gorge. And Otto goes, oh, okay. Like that, which is pretty stupid. Oh, yes. And the best joke of this season so far. This is the best. No, this is staying in the tier I put it in because of all the jokes.
Okay.
It's a classic, but this is the best joke. So Bart decides to jump the gorge, or whatever, and they visit Lance Murdoch in the hospital. Murdoch in the hospital. Do you remember this? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like they take Bart to try and get him to like dissuade Bart from taking up a life as a daredevil.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. It was at the start, right? And they go see Lance Murdoch, who's in hospital or whatever. He's completely covered head to toe in bandages and cast, and he's cast the whole way up. And I think they introduced Bart. Sorry, I was thinking there for a second. I think I was having a conniption, but they introduced Bart to Lance Murdoch, and Lance goes, "Oh, it's great. Do you want me to sign something or whatever?" And he gets it, and he goes, "Dear Bart, thanks for visiting me." And he's writing it with his mouth. His arms are cast in a cast. He goes, "Give him that pen, nurse," whatever. Gets his pen. He's like, "Dear Bart, thanks for visiting me at Springfield General Hospital. Your visit was a ray of sunshine on an otherwise cloudy day. Your pal, Captain Lance Murdoch." He's pausing, thinking he's going to stop writing.
It's just writes the biggest note possible with his mouth. Yeah.
Which it doesn't sound like it was very long, but it's funny when he's doing it with a pen in his mouth.
It is. Yeah.
But that's pretty good.
Keeps
I think that's the best.
You into thinking that's the end of it. Yeah.
That was good. Thanks for visiting me at Springfield General Hospital. That's so good. Your visit was a ray of sunshine. It's just, that's so dumb. US has best doctor Oh yeah, Lance Murdoch quote. He goes, "The US." So Bart tells him he's going to be a Daredevil, and he goes, "I think it's great. The US has the best Doctor to Daredevil ratio in the world."
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. And Bart's Daredevil outfit's bloody lame. I'm sorry,
It is. Yeah.
with the skull on it and the bloody. How many times does Bart wear a costume with a cape?
Quite a few. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
a
right.
few.
Actually, the only way Homer could have made Bart not jump the gorge. Oh, yeah, right. So Homer comes and stops Bart from jumping the gorge after he promises not to. Bart sneaks out. Homer runs away and says, right, if you're not going to not jump the gorge, I'll jump it. I thought that was actually smart. Like, if I was writing this episode and I thought, what's the way they get Bart not to jump the gorge?
Yeah.
He says, I'll jump it. Bart goes, but you'll never make it. You're going to die. And he goes, don't you think I don't know that? But at least you'll realize that it's a dumb idea. I'm like, that's actually the smartest way Homer could have done something. That's actually smart by Homer.
Yeah. Because
So-
kids don't respond well to being told what to do, but he
Yeah,
definitely
it's
obviously
like,
doesn't want
I'll
Homer to die.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, okay, I'll show you. And Homer, he's like, okay, fine. Bart cries. He goes, I'm not going to jump the gorge. I love you, Dad. And he goes, I love you too, son. And he's standing on the skateboard. He starts rolling down. He jumps the gorge. And he's like, I'm going to make it, which is like the most famous scene probably from this whole season. I'm going to make it. And he falls down and goes to plummets to almost his certain death. And then the chopper's picking him up. And he's like all cast up or whatever somehow. Chopper's picking him up. And then he falls again. And he keeps hitting his head as he's coming up in the chopper. And that reminded me of there's this video I saw where this lady's being rescued in like one of those choppers. So she's on like a stretcher, one of those spinal boards, and like the rope's picking her up from the chopper, and have you seen it? And she's spinning.
Oh, God. No.
Like the momentum of the rope has spun her, and it spins her so far one way that she starts spinning even faster the other way. And she's like,
God.
dude, it was bad. It's like a real
How
video.
do they stop her from...
I don't know. There's no full end to the video.
chopper? Yeah.
I know they're flying at the time too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Christ.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's a pretty funny video. I think she was okay, so that's why it's funny. If she wasn't okay,
Wouldn't be
my
funny.
bad.
No.
It's not funny. Yeah, but she's okay, I'm sure. Anything you want to add about this episode? It is a classic, but I don't.
Yeah.
The jokes are great.
I definitely gave this one, a pretty good rating. It's definitely better than the last few episodes, so we're finishing on a high note at least.
Yep. Okay. I mean, do you have anything to add? I don't have much to add. I think that's it. Then we can give it a rating.
No, you actually had a lot of the same notes that I did, which is just pointing out some of the funny jokes, and then, like I was saying, that Homer falling down the gorge a second time after the ambulance hits the tree.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it
I
used to
remember
have me
laughing
in
at that as a kid.
stitches. It had me in stitches. So, like, I fondly remembered this episode before we even got to it. So, it was hard for me to not give it a good rating. And that rating was A.
I gave it awesome to the max as well.
Yeah, great. We agree. A.
Yeah, cool.
We will not accept any other opinions.
Awesome to the max. I gave it an A. It's a classic enough to almost be S, but I don't know. Like, the end was... It started amazingly. The lead up was amazing. The Lance Murdoch joke was absolute pisser.
Yeah.
He was writing the note. At the end, it's funny. The only thing I didn't find as funny was when he got to the gorge falling down. But I remember as a kid, I loved it. So yeah, A, I think it's fair.
Yeah, these days it's not as funny because it's just Homer
Very
getting hurt
slapsticky,
for 40 seconds or something. But back then,
Back then it was hilarious. That's it. That's the podcast for this first seven episodes.
yeah,
Let's say eight
the
episodes.
first third of this season. So yeah, we're up to episode. We finished episode 8, but obviously we've skipped one.
Yep. Next episode, we got Itchy and Scratchy and Marge. So Itchy and Scratchy and Marge. I remember that being a bit of a stinker, but I can't remember. Bart gets hit by a car. Oh, that's a good one. I'm just looking ahead here. Oh, there's a classic, The Way We Was. That's a classic. I don't remember. I say they're classics. I'll look at them and I could be bored. With that being said,
Probably.
Look at all the bloody ratings I've given all these episodes. I've given them such high ratings. I don't know if they deserve them, but we've come to concessions here, and
It's a
we've made
debate.
agreements.
A debate between you and I and no one else, because only our opinion matters, really.
Yeah, but if you have an opinion, write in crackerfactorypodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear them.
We'll
We'll
be
chuck them
sure
up.
to acknowledge them and ignore them.
That's
Actually, we did have an email that we received over the week. Actually, a few emails. It says, how do we balance being so successful and funny as well as handsome? So would you like to address that first?
Well, it's interesting because I got a similar message, and it says, our podcast is like a runaway freight train. How do we keep up with the continued popularity of it? And it's an interesting one to me.
It's hard to not let it go to our heads, the fame and fortune. But
yeah, and if you watch along with the episodes, you'll know that's a quote from this season. But I digress. If you want to follow us on Instagram and get around the podcast. We're thinking about chucking it on. We want comments. Let us know if we should chuck it on Spotify. At the moment, it's just on YouTube. The audio quality is probably a bit rubbish, so I'm not sure. But hopefully we get better.
We will invest the money that you donate to us into a better mic. So since we're obviously getting so many views, it's a small portion of our income. Yeah.
If you like The Simpsons, follow along at home. But otherwise, I've been Jared.
And this is Isaac.
And we're signing out. We'll see you next time on the Cracker Factory podcast. Peace.
Bye.